Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Konoha. After the skills hang up, I won by lying down. Chapter 1. Wind Style Great Breakthrough. It took the boy 3 seconds to seal, and then he spit out a strong wind. The strong wind roared out, causing the bushes in front of the young man to sway, and even knocked down countless green leaves, flying in the sky. Success. The young man looked at this scene and was overjoyed. Although this ninjutsu does not seem to be very powerful, less than 10% of the power of a normal great breakthrough, not to mention killing people, even killing birds is impossible. However, the successful release of ninjutsu made him feel that his efforts were finally rewarded. While feeling satisfied in the heart, there is also a sense of accomplishment. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Without hacks, you can only rely on your own hard work. If you don't have talent, then keep your feet on the ground and make progress little by little. Even if you can't compare with those geniuses, you must live a wonderful life. You must not give up on yourself. The young man muttered to himself. His name is Moonlight Ryoma, he is a time traveler, and he has traveled to this world for half a month. Half a month's time, he only did one thing, and that was to introduce the practice of wind-style great breakthrough. The talent is so-so, and there are no cheats or cheats. At the beginning, Ryoma was still looking forward to what cheats he could get. It's a pity that after waiting for half a month, he still didn't get the cheat he wanted. For this matter, he was almost desperate. Without cheat by his side, everything depends on himself. At first, Ryoma wanted to lie flat, but when he thought about the cruelty of this world, it would not be safe even in Konoha. Therefore, it can only continue to roll up like in the previous life. Ding! The on-hook system is loaded. Just when Ryoma was distracted, a cold voice came from his mind. Ryoma couldn't help being shocked. I came back to my senses in an instant. Ecstatic, he finally got his cheat. System. Is the system there? With Ryoma called. Ding. A screen that only Ryoma can see unfolds before his eyes. Host. Moonlight Ryoma. On hook. None. Can hang up. Wind style great breakthrough. Transformation technique. Body replacement technique. Clone technique, chakra refining technique, shuriken throwing technique. On-hook function description. This system has 10 mounts, including 2 mounts for 10 speed, 3 mounts for 5 speed, and 5 mounts for normal speed. The host can put the basic skills on the hanger for on-hook practice. Hook level description. LV0 beginner, LV1 proficient, LV2 proficient, LV3 small achievements, LV4 steamed greens, LV5 reaching great success, LV6 controlling the subtleties, LV7 supernatural, LV8 penultimate extraordinary, LV9 extraordinary, LV10 technical approach, also known as Zochin. When the skill transcends Zochin, it is supernatural power. The sender understands me so well. I like this system. After Ryoma reviewed the system, Shinchunin couldn't help cheering. With the arrival of the system, Ryoma swept away the depression accumulated in the past half a month, calmed down, and cast his eyes on the screen again. There are only 2 slots for 10x speed, which one should be used first? Well, let's use wind style great breakthrough and chakra refining first. Thinking about it, Ryoma placed wind style great breakthrough and chakra refining technique on the 10-fold slot. Ding! Hook up. 2. 10 speed hang up practice. Wind style great breakthrough LV0 beginner 56 100ths. 10 times faster on hook practice. Chakra refining technique LV2 leisure 33 100ths. Is the chakra refining technique already familiar? Yes, after all, the original owner has practiced it for several years, so it's strange if you are not familiar with it. As he said that, Ryoma placed 3 body technique in the 5 speed slot. It just so happened that the 5 speed has 3 slots that perfectly match 3 body technique, so Ryoma doesn't need to have a headache. The transformation technique and body replacement technique in the 3 body technique have good potential, although the clone technique is a bit broken. In the future, Ryoma will definitely replace it with the shadow clone technique. However, nowadays, if it is empty, it is also empty, so it doesn't matter if it is hung up. Finally, Ryoma put the shuriken throwing technique on the normal speed hanger again. There are new changes on the board. Host. Moonlight Ryoma. Hook up. 6. 10 speed hang up practice. Wind style great breakthrough LV0 beginner 56 100ths. 10 times speed on hook practice. Chakra refining technique 10 times speed LV2 leisure 33 100ths. 5 times faster on hook practice. Transformation technique LV2 casual 22 100ths. 5 speed on hook practice. Body replacement technique LV1 cross pass 90 100ths. 5 speed on hook practice. Clone technique LV1 cross pass 88 100ths. Normal speed hang up practice. Shuriken throwing technique LV1 rough knowledge 13 100ths. This is all my entry level skills. I can't even fill the 10 slots. It's too shabby. It seems that I can't lie down. I have to practice more skills to the entry level. Ryoma murmured to herself, put away the screen, and looked up at the sky. The sun was setting. The fire burns the cloud. It's time to go back. Moonlight home. Ryoma hasn't walked into the house yet. A conversation between men and women came over. Ahem, is Shion free tonight? Is something wrong? Gale, I want to treat you to a meal. I'm sorry, Hayate, you know, Ryoma has been working very hard recently, and he has been training very hard. I want to make some delicious tonics for him. We can eat out and pack some delicious food back for Ryoma, too. How can it be the same? Shion glanced at Gaifeng angrily. Bought from outside, it can't express my heart at all. Shion, you are too kind to that boy Ryoma. In Haifeng's words, he was full of envy towards Ryoma. I'm his cousin, he is my only family member, if I don't treat him well, who else will I treat well? Shion gave Biaofeng a white look. Azuki Yugao's mother and Ryoma's mother are sisters. When Azuki Shion was very young, her father passed away, and his mother was also hit hard by his father's death, and also suffered a serious illness because of it, and passed away not long after. In addition, her father is a commoner and has no relatives alive. After both parents passed away, Azuki Shion was taken back to Yugong's house by Ryoma's mother for adoption. It can be said that Ryoma is a childhood sweetheart who was brought up by Azuki Shion. Especially after Ryoma's parents also passed away. Azuki Shion is both a sister and a mother in Ryoma, and has been taking care of Ryoma. The feelings between them are not comprehensible to outsiders at all. Hearing the words, Haifeng felt a little frustrated. With Ryoma around, it seems that he will never be able to become the most important man in Azuki Shion's heart. However, he did not give up. Scratching his cheek with his index finger, he said shyly, it doesn't matter if you don't go out to eat, how about adding me to dinner? I'm afraid it won't work, I've already bought the dishes, not many, and Ryoma eats a lot recently, probably not enough for 3 people. Azuki Shion said, showing the dishes in her hand to Gaifeng. Gaifeng glanced at it, and found that the portion was quite large. If it was an ordinary family, it would be enough for 4 people. However, Shion is a ninja, and Ryoma has been training very hard recently, resulting in a particularly large appetite for both of them. These dishes are probably just enough for the 2 of them. Seeing this, Haifeng didn't have the nerve to continue pestering her, and said with some frustration, okay then, let's make an appointment another day. Gale is gone. Shion didn't try to keep her, and even let out a sigh of relief. The girl is precocious, how can she not know what Haifeng is thinking? It's a pity that she doesn't feel the blast now. Even if she wanted to find a man to fall in love with in the future, it was impossible for her to find Haifeng. If it's Ryoma, it's not impossible. Shion blushed slightly, imagining. Although, Ryoma's talent is mediocre, and she may not be able to become a strong person in the future, but, for some reason, as long as Ryoma is by her side, she feels very at ease, even happy. No matter how intimate Ryoma made to her, she did not resist. What are you thinking about? It's getting dark, and Ryoma is coming back soon, so I have to cook right away, otherwise, it will be too late. Shion shook her head, shook off all distracting thoughts, and walked towards the kitchen. Outside the door, Ryoma shook her head. This old man, he hasn't given up yet. I guess he will hit a wall a few more times before he wakes up. Ryoma never saw Hayate as a competitor. It will not create any opportunities for him. Naturally, there was no gale of despair left behind. After he walked away, he walked into the gate of Moonlight's house. Night. The lights are on. Moonlight Land, home of Ryoma. At this time, Shion had already prepared a sumptuous dinner. Ryoma and Shion are already on the table. I'm gonna start now. The two have lived together for many years, and they have long since lost the courtesy of outsiders. After performing a pre-dinner ceremony, they started directly. The two chatted and exchanged feelings while eating. Ryoma, how is your wind-style great breakthrough practice going? Shi-Yan asked. It's done, Ryoma replied. Already finished. Shi-Yan was a little surprised. She knew that Ryoma's talent was not outstanding. It takes a lot of time to practice wind-style Dadu. Don't say half a month, it is a year, 2 years, or even 3 or 4 years, which is actually not surprising. After all, many Chunin only know a few ninjutsu. Yeah, Ryoma nodded, affirming his answer. My brother is awesome. Shi-Yan immediately praised Ryoma happily, and then continued with a serious look. Since you have mastered wind-style great breakthrough, Ryoma, I'm going to check it out, sister. Is it okay, Ryoma? Is sister free tomorrow? Ryoma answered irrelevantly. It's free. Shi-Yan nodded in response. This year, Shi-Yan is only 14 years old, she has just been promoted to Chunin, and has not yet joined Anbu. As long as you don't take any tasks that day, you are actually very free. Okay, I'll let my sister see the results of my practice tomorrow, and I'll let my sister teach me some ninjutsu. Ryoma said with a confident smile. So confident, it seems that you have really mastered wind-style great breakthrough. Shi-Yan smiled happily. Okay, as long as your performance can satisfy my brother, my sister will teach you another ninjutsu. Not one, but several, I have already thought about the ninjutsu to learn. Ryoma corrected. Learn so much at once, be careful not to chew too much. Shi-Yanxian pointed Ryoma's forehead. I will make reasonable arrangements. Ryoma said, enjoying Shi-Yan's intimate gesture. We'll talk about this after seeing your performance tomorrow. Shi-Yan didn't agree immediately, and put a piece of beef into Ryoma's bowl with her backhand. Have a meal. The next day, on a driving range. Let's get started, let me see your performance. The purple-haired girl, Azuki Yugao said to Moonlight Ryoma beside her. Wind-style great breakthrough. Ryoma didn't talk nonsense, and started directly. It only took him a second to complete the combination of seal techniques, and a gust of wind spewed out from his mouth. The strong wind swept away a 10-meter-high tree in front of Ryoma. For a while, the tree shook continuously, and countless green leaves were blown away, dancing wildly in the sky. The thick branches were also swept by the strong wind, snapped and snapped apart quickly, and flew towards the sky under the strong wind. After a few seconds, the wind dies down. The big tree about 10 meters high has only one main pole leaning, and it is bare, not even a single leaf can be found. Obviously, at this time Ryoma's wind-style great breakthrough already has the ability to fight. Shi-Yan next to her was amazed. I originally thought that your wind-style great breakthrough was at most an entry-level level. Unexpectedly, it has reached this level. Many genins have not been able to use your wind-style great breakthrough. It is too much for me. Surprised. I always believe in the saying that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you want to achieve as much as you want, you have to work hard. I can achieve today's achievements entirely by my own efforts. Ryoma said, seriously. He won't tell Shi-Yan. When you wake up in the morning. He was pleasantly surprised to find that wind-style great breakthrough has been upgraded from LV0 56/100 to LV1 and after he finished his breakfast, he has reached LV2 6/100. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Wind-style great breakthrough has been upgraded to LV2 21/100. It is so scary to hang up at 10 times speed. It is uninterrupted for 24 hours, without bottlenecks, and it is advancing all the way. Don't talk about comparing Ryoma, but comparing some geniuses, and those geniuses who have practiced for 30 or 40 days are equivalent to Ryoma hanging up for 1 day. It is estimated that by the evening, wind-style great breakthrough will be able to enter the LV3 minor success stage. Ryoma was fantasizing. Shi-Yan slapped him on the shoulder. Unhappily said, if you say you are fat, you are still out of breath. Be humble, you know. Got it, Ryoma admitted directly. Shi-Yan changed her smile instantly. Great Ryoma, I thought you were mediocre in talent and didn't do much, and you would feel inferior in front of those geniuses in the future. I didn't expect that you are also a hard-working genius. Believe in you, it won't be long before I can surpass my sister. My sister is really happy for you. Sister, I will definitely become the strongest in the world. In the future, I will protect you, sister. Ryoma showed a clean smile. Ryoma can really talk, my sister is so happy. Xian happily hugged Ryoma in her arms, her heart melted. Sister's body is so soft and fragrant, but a little flat. Bad boy, are you thinking of something bad? A woman's sixth sense is very magical. Just when Ryoma was thinking about something, Xian seemed to sense Ryoma's thoughts, and pushed Ryoma away with a pretty face. No, Ryoma shook his head without fear of boiling water. It's better not to, Xian said proudly, holding back her shame. Then, quickly change the subject. Your wind-style great breakthrough practice is good, I can teach you new ninjutsu. Tell me, what ninjutsu do you want to practice now? Lightning-style ninjutsu, shadow clone technique, body flicker technique, illusion and your sister's swordsmanship, I want them all. With the plug-in system, he is not afraid of any blog but not proficient at all. Therefore, when Xian asked, he immediately blurted out. You want them all. I just praised you for being a genius, but now you're messed up again. You need to practice everything. Come one by one. As long as you can learn it, I will teach you everything. Facing Xian's strong suppression, Ryoma could only bow his head helplessly. Fine, smelly brother, I still can't suppress you. If you want to turn the world upside down, wait a few years to talk about it. Xian felt a little proud. Tell me, want to learn that ninjutsu first? Sister, I want to learn shadow clone first, Ryoma said. Compared to other ninjutsu, at this time, what Ryoma most wants to learn is shadow clone. For no other reason than it allows Ryoma to do a lot of things. Okay, I'll teach you shadow clone today. Xian nodded. So Ryoma's new round of practice officially began. One teaching and one learning. Round after round, over and over again. Xian is very patient with Ryoma, even though Ryoma's talent is not very good, even though he has been taught many times, he has never been able to learn it. And Ryoma is also very patient. Even if he fails many times, he is still not discouraged and always keeps his original intention. Time is like water, in the practice of Ryoma. Before you know it, it's already afternoon. Shadow clone technique. Boom. A pale and feeble shadow clone lay limply on the ground, very much like the shadow clone that Naruto gave out during his graduation exam in the original work. It was simply too horrible to look at. Xian looked at it, and couldn't help but stroked her forehead. Ding, the shadow clone technique has been introduced, you can hang up. Successful. After receiving the prompt, Ryoma was extremely pleasantly surprised. He had prepared himself for a long-term struggle, but he never expected that he would be able to master the shadow clone technique in just one day. What a joy! For this, he attributes most of the credit to the clone technique that has been upgraded to LV2. Clone technique compares to shadow clone, although it is a bit shabby, but it is also clone technique anyway, and the two have certain things in common. It was his experience of practicing the clone technique combined with practicing the shadow clone technique that allowed him to practice the shadow clone technique so quickly. On the other hand, Xian next to her was a little dumbfounded seeing Ryoma so happy. Splitting out a shadow clone like this is a success. This success is too hasty. Xian couldn't understand Ryoma's mentality. Anyway, her mentality collapsed. Forget it, it's rare for this kid to keep this kind of mood even after a day of practice, so I won't hit him. Xian muttered to herself, looking at the sky. Okay, this is the end of today. Xian said to Ryoma. Hi. Ryoma was in a wonderful mood at this time, and replaced shadow clone technique with clone technique beautifully. Of course, clone technique did not give up directly, but was placed in the normal speed slot by Ryoma. Host. Moonlight Ryoma. Hook up. 7. 10 speed hang up. Wind style great breakthrough LV2 cooked 92 100ths. 10 times faster hang up. Chakra refining technique LV3 small achievement 43 100ths. 5 speed hang up. Transformation technique LV3 small achievements 22 100ths. 5 speed hang up. Body replacement technique LV2 cooked 89 100ths. 5 speed hang up. Shadow clone technique LV0 beginner 25 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Shuriken throwing technique LV1 rough knowledge 53 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Clone technique LV2 cooked 80 100ths. Remaining slots. 3. Can hang up. None. Ryoma looked at the data on the panel. Each ninjutsu was improving, and his strength was getting stronger every moment. The beauty in my heart is even more indescribable. On the way. Sister, are you free tomorrow? Ryoma asked happily. Shi-Yan heard the words, recalling everything today. The corners of her mouth twitched slightly. Why? Shadow clone practiced like this. You want to learn new ninjutsu? My shadow clone has already started. Next, it will enter a period of rapid development. It is estimated that a flexible shadow clone will be separated tomorrow. Sister, you can teach me a new ninjutsu tomorrow. Ryoma laughed. Ryoma, my sister asks you a question. Shi-Yan resisted the urge to smoke Ryoma, and said in a harmonious voice. What's the problem? Ryoma didn't realize that Shi-Yan was about to go berserk. Do you think my sister and I look like a 3-year-old child? Shi-Yan grabbed Ryoma's ear with one hand and shouted in his ear. Why do you think that my sister will believe your nonsense? Just gave out a doe-like shadow clone, and now dare to say that a flexible shadow clone can be given out tomorrow. Let me ask you, would anyone believe such a fantasy? My sister is sorry for you, you humiliated my sister's IQ so much. Quote. Ah, it hurts, my sister let go, my ears are about to burst. Ryoma screamed and patted Shi-Yan's hand that was holding his ear. HMPH. Shi-Yan let go of Ryoma's ears softly when she heard Ryoma screaming so miserable. Tell me, how should I put it? Oh, I can't explain this kind of thing clearly. Sister, why don't we make a bet on whether I can create a normal shadow clone tomorrow? If possible, my sister will teach me new ninjutsu. If not, I will not pester my sister to teach me new ninjutsu. I will learn new ninjutsu until I separate the normal shadow clone. How about it? Quote. The existence of the system is Ryoma's biggest secret, even Shi-Yan, he has no intention of sharing it with her. I can only find an excuse to prevaricate. Shi-Yan stared at Ryoma silently for a long time, feeling that her younger brother was hiding some secret from her. Stinky boy, I already have a secret that I can't share with my sister. Although she felt a little sour in her heart, she still didn't press Ryoma. Why are you so confident? He said gently. Okay, tomorrow, I will wait to see your performance. If you perform well, forget it. If you perform poorly, you will know the consequences. Okay, it's a deal. Although you made my sister very angry just now, she still loves you. What do you want for dinner? How about sukiyaki? Okay, let's make sukiyaki. Under the illumination of the setting sun, the two figures stretched longer and longer, and gradually disappeared into the picture. The next day, Sunday, it was sunny and sunny. Same time. Same location. Same character. Shi-Yan made the same opening remarks. Let's get started, let me see how you perform. Shadow clone technique. Ryoma didn't talk nonsense and made mudras with both hands. There was a bang. A shadow clone that looks exactly like Ryoma appears beside him. Say hello to sister, said Ryoma himself. Hi sister. Shadow clone waved his hand to Shi-Yan. Shi-Yan watched this scene, her eyes widened, her expression full of disbelief. Ryoma, how did you do it? In just one night, that doughy shadow clone turned into this. It's incredible. I don't know what's going on, but I feel that I can practice in my dream. Last night, I seem to have practiced in my dream for almost a month, and finally succeeded in cultivating shadow clone. Ryoma said, scratching his head and laughing. Practice in a dream. Shi-Yan's mouth twitched. You are from the Moonlight Clan, Shueiji is too done, not sleep done. Can you find a reasonable excuse? Forget it, if you don't want to say it, I don't want to force you either. Thinking, Shi-Yan continued. Forget it, no matter how you practiced successfully, you won the bet. If that's the case, sister, I will teach you another ninjutsu. Thank you sister. Seeing Shi-Yan being so tolerant, Ryoma was relieved, but also moved. It's hard to find a woman who knows you have problems but still chooses to tolerate you. I choose body flicker technique. Good. Then, start a new round of teaching and learning. Time is like running water, half a month has passed. During these half a month, Ryoma learned body flicker technique, lightning style discharge and basic swordsmanship from Shi-Yan. As for illusion, although Shi-Yan knows it, she is not very good at it and cannot teach Ryoma better. Although the Moonlight clan also possessed a few illusion scrolls, he couldn't learn them without someone teaching them. Konoha School. 4th grade Class A. At this time, there was a commotion in the classroom. Boys play with boys, girls chat with girls. Ryoma was lying on the table, sound asleep. It's like going back to the previous life, falling asleep in class after a night of sleep. At this time, a middle-aged teacher walked into the classroom. The boy and girl quickly returned to their positions. Sit quietly. For a moment, the whole classroom could hear the sound of needles falling. The middle-aged teacher glanced at the students, smiled lightly and said, "This afternoon is practical class, all the students go to the playground." Practical class. Great, I like the actual combat class the most. Wait a minute, let you see my strengths. The east wind blows, the war drums beat, who in this world is afraid of whom? Oh, it's so good, why is it that I'm in combat class again? I don't want to fight. It's over, I'm afraid no one can beat me with my strength. I hope I can assign a weaker opponent, otherwise I will be beaten again. In the actual combat class, it can be said that some people are happy and some are worried. Cheers mixed with laments. Wake up, Ryoma, it's time for practical lessons. A girl with white eyes shook Ryoma. Under the shaking of the white-eyed girl, Ryoma soon regained consciousness. What's the situation? Is school over? Ryoma murmured to himself in a daze as he watched one by one of his classmates walking towards the door. What after school? It's practical class, the white-eyed girl said. It turned out to be a practical class, I thought school was over. Ryoma gradually regained consciousness, stood up and stretched. Thank you for waking me up, Ali. Travel to this world. He has seen many characters in the original work, such as Azuki Yugao, Moonlight Hayate, Yuhihong, Mitarashi Anko, Handa Dashu, Naruto, Uchiha Izumi and so on. But, speaking of familiar people, apart from Azuki Shion and Moonlight Hayate, there is only this white-eyed girl in front of me, Huguli, the daughter of the second elder of the Hyuga clan. Hyuga is his deskmate, neither lively nor introverted. He is a gentle and quiet person. You're welcome, let's go, or we'll be late. Hyuga smiled softly and left first. Practical class. I hope the opponent won't be too overwhelmed. Ryoma walked out of the classroom with some expectation, but not particularly anticipation. Playground. Everyone in Class A, Grade 4, stood in 3 rows, with 12 people in each row. The teacher stood in front of him and said, "Today's actual combat class is still the old rule. Draw lots to determine the opponent, starting from left to right. This is not the first practical class, and all students are very familiar with the process." After the middle-aged teacher finished speaking, the first girl on the left in the first row stepped forward and took out a numbered ball from a box next to the teacher. Then, one after another. Soon everyone got their own numbered balls. After the students got the numbered balls, they started talking about who their opponents were. Ali, what's your number? Ali was standing beside Ryoma. He felt that he and Ali had a good relationship, so he asked this question. Number 1. Ali always said so gently. No, 1. It's a good number, but it's a pity that the opponent is not me. Do you know who your opponent is? Are you confident? Ryoma said. It doesn't matter who the opponent is, the final winner must be me. Ali said the most domineering words in the most gentle tone. When Ryoma heard Ali's words, she couldn't help but look at her more. Looked away. What do you mean? Lee looked at Ryoma curiously. Before this, I always thought you were the kind of girl who was gentle and quiet, who would not fight or grab, but in the end, you were the kind of girl who was gentle on the outside but domineering on the inside. Don't fight or grab. It's hard to live in a big family. Ali blinked. 2. Ryoma nodded. I agree with Ali's words very much. Mr. Ryoma, what's your number? Ali asked. Number 5. Ryoma said. Really? At this time, the teacher had finished the registration, glanced at the registration form and said, No 1 Hugumi vs No 2 Inuzuka Hana. Ali, come on. Xiaohua, kill you. For a while, the voices cheering for the two were endless. 2 people play. I didn't expect that my opponent this time will be you, Huguli, this time I will definitely defeat you. Inuzuka Hana looked at Huguli on the opposite side, and the fighting spirit surged up all of a sudden. This is not the first time she has played against Huguli. As early as in the past 4 years, she has played against Hughley more than 5 times. Unfortunately, in the end, she was defeated by Hughley with hatred. This time, in her opinion, it was a battle of revenge. So my opponent is you, Shalwa. Don't have too much illusions, you are not my opponent, Hyuga said softly, without any change in emotion. Kwon Jahua gritted her teeth. The seal of confrontation between the two sides. The battle begins. The seal of confrontation between the two sides. At this time, the teacher announced. Hyuga Ri and Inuzuka Hana formed the seal of opposition at the same time. Start. With the sound of the teacher, he fell down. Desperate to win a game back, Inuzuka Hana took the lead in attacking Hughley. Secret technique, four-legged technique. Inuzuka Hana circulated chakra on her limbs, like a vicious dog pouncing on a hunt, and hunched towards Hyuga. Blind eyes. Hughley had fought with Inuzuka Hana before, and knew Inuzuka Hana's strength, so he opened his white eyes without being careless. Catch Hana Inuzuka's action with a blank eye, and then play gentle fist smoothly. Close combat. The gentle fist of the Hyuga family is among the best in the world. As soon as the two fought, Hughley deflected Inuzuka's attack and quickly poked several acupuncture points of Inuzuka. Instantly let Inuzuka Hana lose her fighting power. Inuzuka Hana glared at Hyuga unwillingly. Unfortunately, chakra was intercepted. Movement becomes extremely difficult. Even if the heart is unwilling, there is nothing you can do. You lost, Hyuga said softly. HMPH. After I learn the family's secret technique, I will definitely win it back. Inuzuka Hana could only obediently admit defeat after being stubborn. I'll give you time to catch up until you're completely convinced, Hyuga said, domineering words in a gentle tone. In the first battle, Hyuga wins. Both sides form a seal of reconciliation. At this time, the teacher announced the result. Is this the end? Too fast. Hyuga's gentle fist is too powerful. For students like us who don't know ninjutsu, it's hard to understand. Knowing ninjutsu may not be able to beat Ali. Ali herself is a genius, that's why her gentle fist method is so powerful. There is also a member of Hyuga's family in the next class. He also knows gentle fist method, but he was beaten badly several times. No. 3 dumb vs no. 4 Nobita. Ryoma doesn't know these two guys, it's probably a trick. Therefore, his eyes shifted to Hughley, who was in the return queue. Ali, congratulations on winning the battle, Ryoma said. Thank you, Hughley responded gently. She didn't continue to show her domineering demeanor. The two chatted without saying a word, and soon, the battle between Dumb and Nobita was over. This battle is much more exciting than ordinary kung fu martial arts movies, but if you look at it from the perspective of a ninja, in a word, it is unremarkable, and children fight. However, judging from the shouts of these children on the playground, they enjoyed watching this battle very much. No. 5 Moonlight Ryoma vs No. 6 Uchiha Izumi. It's my turn. The opponent turned out to be her. Ryoma was slightly taken aback. Ryoma-kun, come on. Although Hyuga didn't think Ryoma could beat Uchiha Izumi, he still cheered for him. Thank you. Ryoma smiled faintly and walked towards the battlefield. You don't need to compare the outcome of this battle. How could Ryoma be Kwon's opponent? That's right. This guy Ryoma probably can't even beat me, let alone Yingquan. If you want to blame it, blame him for being unlucky and get the next lottery. I hope he won't be beaten too badly. Don't worry, Kwon is very gentle. Apart from fighting Ali, I have never seen her hit anyone hard. That's not necessarily true. Recently, this guy Ryoma has gotten very close to Ali. Maybe Kwon will be cruel. After all, she is a girl. I don't care too much. That's true. Kwon and Ali were jokingly dubbed by the class as peerless twins. Both are beautiful and gentle. Can chat with everyone else in the class. But it's just such two people, but there is almost no communication. The actual combat class has never given way. In order to defeat each other, both sides will not hesitate to use the most ruthless hands. Ryoma and Ali are so close, in their opinion, it is Izumi's trouble. Unfortunately, they don't know that today's Ryoma is no longer the Ryoma of a month ago. Shibi will look at each other with admiration for 3 days. Ryoma and Izumi faced each other. Neither spoke. At this time the teacher said, not the seal of opposites. Start. The moment the teacher's voice fell, Kwon moved instantly. It was like a rabbit flying towards Ryoma. As soon as the jade leg was lifted, it swept towards Ryoma's waist. So fierce, Ryoma frowned, hastily dodged to the side. However, his speed was too slow compared to the jade leg swept by Quan. The whole person was kicked several meters by Quan. Oh, a group of students watched this scene and couldn't help booing. It's too cruel. However, at this moment, Ryoma flew upside down with a bang, bursting a cloud of white smoke, and finally turned into a piece of wood. Body replacement technique. Quan was startled. You do the first day of junior high school, and I do the 15th day. It's reasonable. At this time, a voice sounded behind Quan. Then kicked out. Izumi was too close to Ryoma to react. He was directly kicked by Ryoma and flew several meters away. After landing, he still rolled twice on the ground, really embarrassed. But, fortunately, Ryoma kicked Izumi's. There is a lot of meat, there is no harm. Therefore, Quan was not injured. Oh, the students who watched were booing again. Ryoma, when did he become so strong? Quan was kicked away by him. Ryoma is too cruel, Izumi is a girl anyway, and he kicked him flying. This guy treats girls so rudely, he will definitely not find a girlfriend in the future. Rude man, destined to be a bachelor for a lifetime. Ryoma turned a deaf ear to the voices attacking him, and looked at the teacher next to him. Teacher, I have won this battle. The teacher looked at Quan's appearance and was about to announce the result. Etc. A voice called to stop the teacher who was about to announce the result. At this moment, Uchiha Izumi stood up and stared at Ryoma with a resigned face. I haven't lost yet. The game continues. The teacher made a decision after glancing at Quan and then at Ryoma. After all, Ryoma just kicked Izumi's just now. If compared to a real fight, this kick could not make Izumi lose the ability to fight, so the teacher decided to let the game continue. Since that's the case, let's go. Ryoma had no objection to such a result. Ryoma's strength was somewhat beyond Izumi's expectations. She's ready to give it her all. Fast printing with both hands. Fire style great fireball technique. I saw a 1 meter sized fireball released by Quan and flew towards Ryoma quickly. Wow, I used ninjutsu. Looks like Izumi is really doomed off by Ryoma. This guy Ryoma is going to be miserable. The students couldn't help exclaiming as they watched Quan use the great fireball ninjutsu. Even the teacher next to him became nervous. In a ninjutsu duel, victory or defeat is only a moment, and life and death are only a moment. One mistake, Ryoma may be buried in the sea of fire at any time. As a teacher, if there is an educational accident, he needs to bear certain responsibilities. But Ryoma, who was the person involved, didn't panic in the slightest at this time. I saw that he combined his two-hand prints. Body flicker technique. When the great fireball flew over, it disappeared instantly. The great fireball flew directly past the place where Ryoma was standing just now, flew out of the battle circle, and disappeared completely 10 meters away. At the same time, Ryoma also uses the body flicker technique to appear behind Izumi. Kick again. Boom. With Ryoma's powerful kick, Izumi flew again. Dangquan hit the ground again and rolled twice. A figure quickly approached her, and immediately sat on her body. Put one finger on Quan's throat. You lost, Ryoma said with a faint smile. For a while, the playground was silent. To everyone's surprise, Ryoma defeated Izumi. The students looked at each other with disbelief on their faces. They were classmates with Ryoma for 4 years. They probably still know what kind of ability Ryoma has. And Quan's strength, they are also clear. In the past, apart from Hugely, there was almost no rival for Izumi in Class A of the 4th grade. However, it was such a little genius who was defeated by Ryoma, who usually behaved so-so. The third battle, Moonlight Ryoma wins. There is no suspense in this battle. The teacher pronounced the verdict on the spot. His voice instantly brought everyone's consciousness back to reality. Wow, Ryoma wins. It's incredible. It's so exciting. Ordinary people also have a turnaround day. If Ryoma can do it, we can do it too. That's right. As long as we work hard, we will definitely defeat Quan and Ali in the future. Stimulated by Ryoma's performance, a group of naive teenagers began to fantasize ignorantly. Ryoma stood up from Izumi, smiled and held out her hand to Izumi. Want to give her a hand. However, Kwon was still immersed in the fact of losing to Ryoma, and couldn't recover for a long time. I don't know what she was thinking at this time, although her eyes were dull, 2 lines of tears shed unconsciously. Cried. Ryoma was slightly taken aback. Could it be too hard for me to do it myself? Hey, are you okay? Hearing this, Kwon came back to his senses. Eyes red with tears looked at Ryoma. The eyes are full of resentment and dissatisfaction. I'm fine. Kwon wiped away his tears, stood up by himself, looked at Ryoma with a condescending expression, and said, I lost this battle, but I will definitely win it back in the future. I'll wait. Ryoma smiled faintly. After the 2 sides formed a seal of reconciliation, they withdrew from the fighting circle. The teacher started to announce the start of the next battle. However, at this time, most of the people's thoughts were scattered on Ryoma and Izumi. For this battle, I didn't pay much attention to it. I was wrong. Hyuga, who was next to him, suddenly said. At first I thought you would be beaten badly, but in the end, not only were you not beaten, but you cried instead. It really surprised me. Shibi 3 days should be impressive. Ryoma smiled faintly. But, you've made too much progress. It's only been less than a month, and you actually defeated Kwon. You know, last time, you were beaten by Fat Tiger so that you couldn't fight back. Ali's words made Ryoma recall. In the 2 days before the time travel, there happened to be a combat lesson. His opponent is an unknown dragon suit. However, he still failed to fight, and was quite embarrassed by the beating. It was also from then on that he made up his mind to kill this group of guys. Ahem, these are all in the past, don't mention it again. Now, I am a genius who defeated Kwon. Ryoma is still more concerned about the dark history of the past. I don't want to hear someone repeat it once. Hee. Ali couldn't help laughing coquettishly as he watched Ryoma as if his tail had been stepped on. Okay, don't mention it. The actual combat is still going on, one after another. Plain and simple, there has never been a tense and exciting battle like Ryoma and Izumi. Unconsciously, it's time to leave school. It was rare for Ryoma not to continue practicing ninjutsu at the training ground he used to go to today. Because, his on-hook system, the slots are already full of skills. He is not so urgent for other skills for the time being. Ryoma intends to take this opportunity to stroll around Konoha and taste the delicious food here. System. On the way, Ryoma had a thought. A screen that only he could see unfolded in front of his eyes. Host. Moonlight Ryoma. Hook up. Full. 10 times faster hang up. Wind style great breakthrough LV5 Junjitachung 96 100s. System evaluation. Your mastery of this ninjutsu has reached the level of a master. Even Hokage of this village can't master this level of ninjutsu. 10 times faster hang up. Chakra refining technique LV6 control fine 5 100s. System review. Host, please use this level of chakra refining technique with caution. It will drain the energy in your cells in an instant and cause irreversible damage to you. 5 speed hang up. Body replacement technique LV5 Junjitachung 92 100s. 5 speed hang up. Shadow clone technique LV5 Junji Dachung 12 100s. 5 speed hang up. Body flicker technique LV4 perfect 33 100s. Normal speed hang up. Transformation technique LV4 superior 94 100s. Normal speed hang up. Lightning style discharge LV2 cooked 86 100s. Normal speed hang up. Basic swordsmanship LV2 leisure 22 100s. Normal speed hang up. Clone technique LV3 small achievements 88 100s. Normal speed hanging. Shuriken throwing technique LV3 minor achievement 77 100s. Can hang up. No. The chakra refining technique has been upgraded to LV6, it only takes a moment to drain the energy in the cells, it's really terrifying. However, since LV6 is called controlling the details, as long as you operate carefully, such a thing will never happen. And with this ability, even if the chakra is exhausted, I can replenish it in an instant. However, the chakra refining technique also has a weakness, it cannot refine chakra endlessly, and it also needs to abide by the law of energy conservation. All energy is drawn from my cells. If I extract too much, it will be harmful to me, so I can't just waste chakra. Alas, I hope that this problem can be solved after the chakra refining technique is upgraded to a later stage, or after it has been transformed into a supernatural power. Otherwise, this can only be used as a trump card and cannot be used easily. Quote. Before he knew it, Ryoma had already walked in front of the Ichiraku ramen shop station. Why did you come here? Ryoma was stunned after recovering. But after seeing a familiar figure in the Ichiraku ramen shop, he couldn't help but walk in. Ali, you come to eat noodles too. Ryoma walked over to Ali with a smile and sat down. Later, it was discovered that there were 7 or 8 large bowls placed in front of Ali's table. It was also a surprise. Unexpectedly, in addition to Hinata, Hyuga's family has another girl with a big stomach, which is really enlightening. Ali seemed to have noticed Ryoma's gaze, and said with a gentle smile, "Do you think I ate a little too much?" She has a good mentality. Even if Ryoma says yes, she doesn't care, let alone change herself because of other people's opinions. That's not true. Being able to eat is a blessing. Wanting to eat means that the body desires. The more you eat, the stronger your potential is. Ryoma said with a faint smile. He didn't mean to make fun of Ali at all. In his previous life, he had watched a lot of anime. Those anime characters may not be good or bad, but they must be good or bad. Ali could hear the sincerity in Ryoma's tone. Eyes lit up. Do you think so too? Certainly. Very nice. Ryoma frowned. I have been able to eat since I was a child, but people in my family think it is rude, so they often limit my food intake. But, fortunately, my family gave me a lot of pocket money, and I never wronged my stomach, so I often ate outside until I was 80% full before going home. Over the years, you are the first person to understand me. Hyuga said with a gentle smile. I see. Ryoma laughed dumbfounded upon hearing this. Also sad for the ignorance of the Hyuga clan. Hinata is like this, so is Ali. No wonder the Hyuga family is getting worse and worse. Boss, give me a serving of all kinds of ramen. Today, I'm going to challenge Ali for the number of bowls. Then you have to work hard. Mr. Ryoma. Ali narrowed his eyes slightly, smiled happily, and continued to cook. After more than half an hour. It can't be done. It's bursting. Ryoma was wailing with her big belly. Ali looked at it, feeling very funny. Tell you to be brave. You are so pitifully weak, yet you dare to challenge me. Ali softly scolded Ryoma, helped him up, walked out of the store, and said, let's go, I'll walk with you to digest and digest. Thank you, Ali. Ryoma gave Ali a moved look, and secretly swore that in the future, he would never challenge Ali's strength. The two just wandered among the leaves. It might be that Ali had some scruples, so he supported Ryoma and chose to walk on the road with few people. Unknowingly, the two walked to a wooded practice field. Fire-style great fireball technique. Fire-style great fireball technique. Fire-style great fireball technique. Bang bang bang. From a distance, the two heard bursts of sweet shouts and the sound of fireballs bombarding the ground. The two looked at each other. Tacitly, he chose to approach quietly. It's a spring. After the two approached quietly, they soon discovered that the person who was practicing hard was their classmate Uchiha Izumi. It seems that after Quan lost to you, he has been brooding all the time. In order to defeat you, he started to practice hard. Ali said with a gentle smile. It's from the Uchiha clan. Even though she's just a girl, even though she's gentle, innocent, and cute, she's still very proud inside. If you lose, you want to win back. Ryoma said with a faint smile. So, Ryoma-kun, are you feeling stressed? Ali smiled gently. No, Ryoma smiled faintly. Those surpassed by me will never be regarded as opponents by me. I will give her time to catch up until she is out of sight. Huh, Ali raised his eyebrows. Then he gave a thumbs up. Hockey. You're not bad either, Ryoma boasted back. Afterwards, the two looked at each other with a feeling of sympathy, and couldn't help laughing. The laughter between the two was a bit loud, and Izumi, who was practicing ninjutsu, noticed it. He quickly turned around and looked in the direction of the sound, and gave a warning while sipping. It's us. Ryoma and Ali didn't intend to hide, they stood up when they heard Quan's coquettish drink. It's you. Seeing that it was an acquaintance, Quan instantly relaxed her vigilance, but she still kept a straight face. What are you two doing here? Maybe you want to spy on me practicing ninjutsu. What's so good about peeping at the Great Fireball? Isn't everyone in Konoha owns this thing? Ryoma said disapprovingly. So, you can also Great Fireball. Quan raised his brows. That's not true. I only have the 2 innate chakra attributes of wind and thunder, and I haven't learned Great Fireball yet. Ryoma said. Since that's the case, why are you arrogant? Quan snorted coldly. Say, what are you doing here? Ah, Ryoma choked. What's wrong with this girl? Did she eat gunpowder? So rush. We just had dinner and came out to digest, but we didn't expect you to practice here too. It was a misunderstanding, Ali explained at this time. Quan still believed in Ali's words. After all, one of them belongs to the Hyuga family and the other belongs to the Moonlight family, and neither of them lacks inheritance. Naturally, she would not steal her Great Fireball technique. However, she still found a blind spot in Ali's words. What meal did you eat together? Quan pointed at the 2 of them, with an expression on his face, and asked curiously, what's the relationship between the 2 of you now, that you both have dinner together? Could it be? Izumi made a gesture that a child could understand. Sorry, I don't have any special relationship with Ryoma-kun. To disappoint you, we just met by chance at Ichiraku Ramen. It's just that Mr. Ryoma ate a bit too much, so he came out to digest. So, do you understand? Ali calmly diffuses Quan's offensive. Hearing this, Izumi subconsciously looked at Ryoma's stomach. Sure enough, round and round. Immediately happy. Is Ryoma-kun still a child? You can eat ramen and you'll be full. I'm sorry, I'm only 10 years old, what a child. Ryoma's eyes were dead, and he received Izumi's attack with a thick skin. Childish, Quan Zhao hummed. Then he waved his hand and said, since it's all right, then you guys hurry up and don't disturb my ninjutsu practice. It's useless to practice like this, why don't I come and practice with you? At this moment, Ali was eager to try. I'm not afraid of you. Since you want to be my training partner, then come. Quan Zhao snorted. One is from Hyuga's house and one is from Uchiha's house. The pride branded in their bones made them naturally dislike each other. Hearing Ali's words, Quan naturally refused to show weakness. In that case, how about letting me be the referee? Ryoma interjected at the right time. While watching, this is a battle between the 2 of us. The 2 women, both Ali and Quan, rejected Ryoma's proposal. It can be said that they speak in unison and have a tacit understanding. Okay, I'll just watch here. Ryoma, who was devastated, didn't bother to pay attention to them. Find a suitable place. Sat down. Quan and Ali stood facing each other. The wind gently brushed their hair. Start. The 2 moved at the same time. Like a rabbit, Ali flew towards the spring. Quan knew how strong Ali's close combat power was. Naturally, short-term attacks are not long-term. I saw her hands forming seals quickly. When Ali was 4 or 5 meters away from her, he directly released a ninjutsu. Fire-style Great Fireball technique. A 1-meter-long fireball blasted towards Ali. Ali stopped quickly. Spin in place. Revolving heaven. Li's talent is not lost to Neji, Hinata. Plus she is the daughter of the Zong family. All kinds of secret techniques of the Hyuga clan are fully released to her. In addition, the seniors in the clan devoted themselves to teaching. Even if she is only 10 years old, she still has learned the Gentle Fist Mystery Revolving Heaven. I saw the Great Fireball collide with the light blue ball spinning at high speed. There was a bang. The Great Fireball was torn apart on the spot, scattered quickly, and finally disappeared. After Ali blocked Quan's Great Fireball, he immediately stopped his spinning steps and rushed towards Quan. Quan is also very familiar with Ali's attack methods. After seeing Ali blocking the Great Fireball, he immediately ran chakra on his feet and kicked hard. Go back about 10 meters. After distanced from Ali, Quan sealed again. Fire-style Great Fireball technique. Another Great Fireball flew towards Ali. This time, Ali no longer uses Revolving Heaven. Instead, using footwork, he calmly dodged Quan's Great Fireball, and then quickly approached Quan. At this point, Quan had just used a Great Fireball and hadn't had time to react otherwise. Ali has already been killed. Quan had no choice but to fight Ali in close quarters. Ali's Gentle Fist is very powerful. Although Quan is not as good as Ali, her physical skills are not much weaker. Otherwise, when fighting against Ryoma, he would not have chosen to use physical skills to attack Ryoma in the first place. Bang bang bang. Ali's attack was feminine and vicious. Kwan's attack was fierce and swift. You come and I go. For a while, Ali failed to win the spring. Ryoma next to him watched, surprised. Kwan's physical skills are pretty good. I'm afraid my physical skills are not as good as hers. I need to practice more in the future. Across this month, Ryoma has devoted all her attention to ninjutsu and neglected taijutsu. Although taijutsu is not the mainstream way of ninja fighting, it is also very important. In the later period, Madara, first generation, and Guy all performed well. Of course, attention should be paid attention to, but we can't give up the basics and chase the end. Ninjutsu, supernatural powers are the way, and it is also Ryoma's favorite. As the saying goes, if you fight for a long time, you will lose. Kwan and Ali fought for a long time. In the end, Ali poked several vital points on his body. Of course, Kwan also punched Ali, and took the opportunity to distance himself from Ali. At this time, the two were about 10 meters apart, looked at each other, and did not make another move. The situation froze for a while. It's quite capable, you even punched me. Ali stroked the cheek hit by Kwan, and said in the most gentle tone. Guess next, I win or you win. You won, I admit defeat. Kwan hearing this, decisively admit defeat. As a competitor, she knew Ali very well. Don't look at Ali who is always so gentle and kind when speaking, but her methods are dark. Having been hit on several vital points on her body, she could already clearly feel that chakra's transfer had become stagnant, and her body's reactions had also become sluggish. Keep beating, only she will be beaten. She doesn't suffer from immediate losses. It's better to admit cowardly when it's time to admit cowardly. That can't be done. This is not a competition, and there is no referee. It will be over only if one side completely falls down. Ali smiled softly and sweetly. Seeing Ali like this, Kwan began to panic. He quickly turned his head to look at Ryoma. Mr. Ryoma, I admit defeat, stop Ali. Kwan shouted to Ryoma for help. I'm not a referee, what's the use of calling me? Ryoma pouted, too lazy to move. Just now you loved me and ignored me, but now I make you unattainable. But we are classmates, she is going to hit me, shouldn't you stop it? Kwan looked at Ryoma who was motionless, dumbfounded. Didn't you punch her just now? Just let her hit back. Ryoma was unmoved. Kwan, accept your fate obediently. Ali had already walked up to Kwan at this time. No, I will never accept the fate of being beaten. At this moment, Kwan's spirit of resistance became extremely strong. I can't wait to defeat Ali completely. There was a sound off boo. Kwan seems to feel that he has broken a certain boundary. Eyes suddenly became very clear. Ali's punch became extremely slow in her sight. She struggled to steer her sluggish body to one side. But he dodged Ali's punch in a very dangerous way. At the same time, Kwan struggled to raise his foot and swept towards Ali. Ali didn't expect Kwan to be able to fight back at this level. However, fortunately, Kwan's attack was not too fierce, and she dodged it easily. After getting out of the way, Ali immediately noticed the change in Kwan's eyes. The red pupil, a black hook jade, slowly rotated. Kwan, your eyes, have you opened them? Ali cried out in surprise. What about it? Kwan paused slightly. I can't control that much anymore, just focus on the eyes directly. At this moment, there was a bang punch. It hit Kwan on the cheek hard. Ali's surprise attack was successful. Punch for punch, we're even. Because of Kwan's opening eyes, Ali didn't want to continue fighting. However, Kwan punched her just now, and he still had to hit her back. If you don't call back now, it won't be so easy to fight in the future. After all, an open-eyed Uchiha is not so easy to deal with. Ali, you are too insidious. Kwan covered his cheek with one hand, and looked at Ali angrily. Even Sharingan was in no mood to pay attention when he opened his eyes. HMPH, soldiers never tire of cheating. How can we say that our ninja matter is insidious? Thank me, it's my stimulation that opened your eyes. Ali laughed. HMPH, we're even, untie the acupoints for me. Kwan said with a cold snort. Let's say it first, after I unlock your acupoints, I'm not allowed to do anything else, otherwise. Got it, Quan Ching said unwillingly. Ali smiled gently. Quan is different from her. Quan is a naive and lovely child who always keeps his word. Clap clap. Ali tapped Quan's body several times. Opened up the acupuncture points that Quan was blocked. Quan felt his body. Chakra is flowing smoothly and there is no problem with his skill. Only then did I feel relieved. Then, he punched Ali directly in front of him. Fortunately, Ali reacted quickly. Out of the way. Otherwise, he would have been successfully attacked by Quan. Quan, you're going back on your word. Ali bit her red lips slightly, a little angrily. She was swayed by this girl Quan. Isn't the spring like this before? Is it because of Sharingan? It should be. Uchiha is indeed an evil family. HMPH, I learned from you, can things between ninjas be turned back on you? Quan said triumphantly. However, since you dodged a punch, forget it, we're even. After the previous battle, Sharingan was opened again, and she no longer had the desire to continue fighting with Ali. But Ryoma, who was sitting in the distance, interested her a lot. Sharingan has been opened, and she thinks she can do it again. Just trying to get Ryoma to try her Sharingan so it doesn't work. Ryoma-kun, are you interested in competing with me again? Me. Ryoma didn't expect that Quan would give up on Ali and shift his target to him. That's right, it's you. The sky cleared, the rain stopped, Urzuzi was working again. Look at the Uchiha spring in front of you. Ryoma thinks that Sasuke is not the only one who has this problem, but almost everyone with the surname Uchiha has this problem. Ryoma felt that it was necessary for this woman to quit Wang addiction, no, to cure the second disease. In that case, come on. Ryoma said, stood up and walked towards Izumi. Ali also walked towards Ryoma's direction. Ryoma-kun, come on. Don't hold back, Quan has already opened the Sharingan, and she can take it no matter how strong the method is. Ali not only did not dissuade him, but even added fuel to the flames. Why didn't I realize that there is a dark heart hidden under your gentle and quiet appearance? Ryoma said speechlessly with the corners of his mouth twitching. What kind of enmity do you have with her? What hatred do you want me to kill her so much? I don't know, anyway, I just can't see her complacency. Ali laughed. Then why don't you beat her up yourself? Ryoma said speechlessly. Since someone else does it for you, why do you do it yourself? Ali smiled softly. Ryoma shook his head, secretly thinking that this woman was born in the wrong place. She should go to Gongdu World. Fighting and killing here is a bit of a waste of her skills. Ryoma and Izumi faced each other. Come on, Ryoma said. Quan didn't talk nonsense when he heard the words. Open Sharingan directly, lock Ryoma's figure, and then quickly seal it. Fire style. Before the great fireball came out, Ryoma had disappeared in place. What about Na? Startled, Quan turned around quickly. She was really shadowed by Ryoma's 2 consecutive kicks. However, when she turned around, Ryoma was nowhere to be found. When I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, there was a bang. She only felt that someone kicked her hard, and her whole body took off. Again, Quan wanted to cry but had no tears. The person flew a few meters in the air, then hit the ground and rolled twice. Ryoma didn't chase after the victory. Because there is no need. After Quan hit the ground, the chakra that had originally gathered at the throat was transformed into sparks and black smoke due to the failure of the spell. Spit out amid Quan's constant coughing. For a while, Quan was in a panic. Ali looked at Quan who was spewing sparks and black smoke from his mouth, and couldn't help laughing. Hey, what a pity, I didn't bring a camera, otherwise I would have died for Quanchi if I took this picture. Are you okay? Ryoma walked to Quan's side and asked cautiously. Get the hell out of here. Izumi glanced back at Ryoma. The appearance is both funny and cute. I'm not worried about you. Ryoma touched his nose guilty. The cat cries and the mouse fakes mercy. Quan snorted coldly, recalling everything that happened today. The young man in front of him seemed to be his own nemesis. As long as he confronted him, he would never end up well. Very angry. You compare me to a cat, I don't care, but you say that you are a mouse, isn't it a bit demeaning yourself? Ryoma responded frankly. You fool. Quan's anger exploded. After all, She is also a girl, and this guy doesn't know how to let her go. It's fine if you don't show mercy, but you don't even show mercy with your mouth. This dead straight man. Izumi tries to push Ryoma away playfully. As a result, Ryoma got out of the way early. Her push directly caused her body to lose her balance, and she fell to the ground with her left foot mixed with her right foot. This miraculous scene made Ali, who witnessed everything, laugh half to death. Kwon heard Ali's laughter, and looked at Ryoma with an innocent face. The grievance in my heart made me unable to hold back the tears. He staggered up and ran home without looking back. Look at you, what you look like. Even if you want to laugh, you should laugh secretly. You laugh so loudly, don't you just sprinkle salt on other people's wounds? Look at Kwon crying. Ryoma looked at Kwon away the figure directly threw the blame on Ali. It's none of my business, isn't it all because of you? Ali was stunned. Well, this guy turned the blame on himself. Forget it, don't talk about it. It's getting late, let's go back to our homes. After Ali finished speaking, without waiting for Ryoma to speak, he waved his hand and walked towards Hyuga's house. Ryoma looked at Ali who was going away, and shook her head. Women nowadays are too irresponsible, they brought me here, and they are irresponsible to bring me back. Alas, what has this world left for men? Root headquarters. A gloomy room. A one-eyed man flips through a file. This file belongs to Ryoma. It records all the big and small events from his birth to 10 years old. Especially today, the battle between him and Kwon was well reviewed. A kid who had been ordinary for 10 years, rose up and defeated the genius girl of the Uchiha clan. Interesting. I remember this girl named Uchiha Izumi, who happened to be childhood sweethearts with Itachi, although her talent is not as penultimate as Itachi. But he can be regarded as a little genius in school. Moonlight Ryoma should have several talents to defeat her. However, the ability he has demonstrated is not yet qualified to be absorbed into the root. Stay tuned. Hope he can do better. Quote, the one-eyed man had a sullen face, and there was a hint of indifference in his voice. He is the enemy of all traversers, Shimura Danzo. Hi, a root member responded, and then disappeared into the dark room. Danzo put Moonlight Ryoma's file aside casually, and then picked up Itachi and Shisui's files. The eyes do not hide the greed in them. At this time, Ryoma didn't know that he had been targeted by Danzo. Now, he is having dinner with Shion at home. Tomorrow is Sunday and you don't have to go to school. My sister will take you to meet someone. Shi Yan said. Who is it? A senior, her illusion skills are among the best in Konoha. Shi Yan said. Really? Ryoma thought for a while. Is illusion one of the best in Konoha? In addition to the Konoha family who are good at illusion, I am afraid that only Yuhihong is more famous. In order to ask her to guide you in practicing illusion, my sister has paid a lot of price and favor. When the time comes, behave better, you know. Shi Yan said. Understood, sister. Ryoma nodded. Then how is my brother going to thank my sister? Shion smiled playfully. Then what does my sister want me to do? Ryoma said helplessly. HMPH, wait a while to soak in the hot spring, you have to help my sister wipe her back. Ah, let's do it. 10 o'clock in the morning. Shion brought Ryoma to a 2-story Japanese-style building on time. Ring the doorbell. Not long. The door is open. It was a beautiful woman who opened the door. Senior read, excuse me. Shi Yan bowed. Hello senior. Ryoma followed suit. Yo, Shion is here, and your name is Ryoma, Shion mentioned you to me. Seeing that it was Shion and Ryoma, Hong opened the door completely and walked aside. Come in. Hi. After the two entered the room, Hong served 2 cups of tea to entertain them. In my place, besides wine, there is only tea. Don't be offended by poor hospitality. That's not the case. The 3 of them chatted for a while, mainly Shi Yan and Hong were chatting, only when Ryoma was involved, Ryoma would reply a few words. He mainly looked at Hong in the dark. Have to say, Hong is really beautiful, with red eyes, a pretty mouth, slender and thick eyebrows, and a face full of collagen. The figure is even more plump and enchanting. Not to mention the current Shion, even the adult Shion is somewhat inferior in comparison. Ryoma, Shi Yan called out. Bring distracted Ryoma back to reality. Little devil, you're not very old, but you're quite thoughtful. I'm interested in women at such a young age. It's a pity, it will take a few years before I can use it. Hong teased. Ryoma blushed in embarrassment. At this time, saying anything became sophistry, and Ryoma simply did not resist. Little ghost, show me an illusion. Hong didn't linger on the previous question. Turned to the topic. Senior Red, I haven't mastered illusion yet. Ryoma looked embarrassed. If I can release the illusion, will I still come here to ask you for advice? I know you haven't started with illusion, I want to see what problems you have through the process of performing ninjutsu. Hong said. Understood. Ryoma came to a sudden, no more words, directly seal. Illusion Naraku C technique. Topography is correct. Chakra works fine. However, the illusion just couldn't be released successfully. Hong just glanced at it and knew the problem. I already understand your question. Senior Red, please enlighten me. Ryoma bowed. Ask for help with a begging attitude. In addition, this is a Japanese-style animation, and even if you are not used to it, Ryoma can only do this. Whether it is performing ninjutsu or illusion, there are conditions. For example, performing fire-style ninjutsu requires the fire attribute chakra. And to perform illusions, you also need to be strong enough and condensed enough mental power. Your mental power is enough, but not concise enough. Quote. So it is. Ryoma suddenly realized. As a time traveler, the fusion of two souls, his spiritual power is indeed stronger than that of ordinary people. However, as a modern time traveler, what he saw and heard in his previous life was too much. As a result, his mind was restless, and it was difficult for him to concentrate and keep one. Senior Hong, do you have a solution to this problem? Shi Yan asked. This problem is easy to solve. Wait a minute. Hong glanced at Xian, then at Ryoma, stood up, and walked towards a certain room. After a while, come out with a scroll. This is spiritual refining technique. It can not only help you condense your spirit, but also strengthen and improve your spirit. Senior, isn't this too expensive? Before Ryoma could speak, Xian said uneasy. This thing is too expensive. Except for those big families, ordinary people can't get in touch with them at all. Even the Moonlight family does not have such a secret technique. The price she paid was nothing compared to that. It's okay, this thing is expensive, indeed, it is very expensive, but that's the same thing as how expensive it is. Although it cannot be said that everyone has one copy of this thing in Konoha. However, in those big families, it is very common. Not to mention the Uchiha family, Nara, Jongshan, Sarutobi, Shimura, they all have them. It's no big deal to show this kid. If you feel sorry, treat me to dinner later, drink some wine with me by the way, and then go to a hot spring. How about it? Quote. Hong teased Xian and said. Everything is as Senior wished. Xian's face turned rosy unconsciously. It's not that I feel like I've been molested. Rather, Hong's words reminded her of the scene of taking a hot spring with Ryoma last night. Thank you, Senior Red. Ryoma said gratefully after taking the scroll in Red's hand. If you want to thank your sister. Hong waved her hand and said. Okay, kid, you've got what you need, it's time to go back, and it's time for me and your sister, so don't get in the way here. In that case, I'll go back first. After Ryoma glanced at Xian, he said dryly. At the same time, after going home to rest for a night, Quan has recovered well. It's also time to visit her patriarch, Uchiha Fugaku. I played against Ryoma yesterday, lost 2 games in a row and got kicked 3 times. When she got home, the more she thought about it, the more aggrieved she became, the more she thought about it, the more aggrieved she became. Secretly made up his mind, he must not let it go. At the same time, she also understands that it is very difficult to defeat Ryoma just by practicing Great Fireball. She needs new ninjutsu to expand her means. Coincidentally, she awakened the Sharingan again. As long as she reports the opening of her eyes to the patriarch Uchiha Fugaku, there will certainly be no shortage of rewards. Maybe when the time comes, she will be able to avenge her shame with this. Izumi knocked on Fugaku's door. Soon, a beautiful woman came to open the door. Oh, it's Koizumi, long time no see. Makoto was taken aback for a moment, then said happily. Are you here to find Itachi? Makoto said with a look of pity, unfortunately, Itachi is not at home now. Auntie, Excuse me, I'm not looking for Itachi, I'm here for the patriarch. Quan heard that Itachi was not at home, although she was a little bit disappointed, but she always remembered her purpose. Getting back the place is more important than meeting Itachi. For Fugaku, Makoto was surprised. However, Izumi is also from Uchiha. It's normal to find the patriarch for something, so I didn't think much about it. Then come in, Fugaku happens to be home. Hi. Izumi, led by Makoto, soon came to Fugaku's study. Honey, Koizumi is looking for you. Makoto knocked on the door and called. Koizumi. Fugaku recalled the film, and soon remembered Itachi's childhood sweetheart, Uchiha Izumi. It's her. Come in. Go in. Thank you, auntie. I have seen the patriarch. Izumi bowed after entering Fugaku's study. Izumi, what do you want from me? Fugaku didn't care about being polite, and went straight to the point. After all, Izumi is just a fringe figure of the Uchiha clan. It's not worth his effort to win him over. Master Patriarch, I have awakened Sharingan. What did you say? Fugaku, who was still casual, changed his expression and stood up abruptly. Have you opened your eyes? Yes, open it for me to see. Fugaku asked with surprise. You must know that Quan was only 10 years old at this time. In the whole Uchiha, how many people can open their eyes at the age of 10? Except for his son Itachi, there is no one else to be found, and even he, Uchiha Fugaku, didn't open his eyes until he was 13 years old. Chapter 11. What is the foundation of the Uchiha family? No doubt, Sharingan. Quan's ability to awaken Sharingan at the age of 10 is enough proof of her talent. Just let her grow up to be at least an elite Jonin as well. It is not impossible to become a strong cage-level player in the future. Think of this. Fugaku felt that he had to win over the girl in front of him. Open Sharingan and let me see. Yes, Lord Patriarch. Quan closed his eyes first, then opened them suddenly. Quan's dark eyes turned red, and a small black Guyu was moving slowly. It is true. Fugaku watched after a flip. I am very happy in my heart. Izumi is Itachi's childhood sweetheart. That's tantamount to being one of your own. When she grows up, not only can she become a helper for him and Itachi, but even after she gets married, she can give birth to several excellent children for Uchiha. Push Uchiha to a higher pinnacle. Thinking of this, Fugaku couldn't help but get excited. Quan, your talent is very good, but you have to work hard. If you have any difficulties, just tell your uncle. Within the scope of uncle's ability, I will help you solve it. Quote. Thank you, Lord Patriarch. Quan Wen was overjoyed when he heard this. Don't be so born, you and Itachi are childhood sweethearts, and you are from our Uchiha family, so please call me uncle from now on. Fugaku corrected. Hi, Quan was overjoyed. When the patriarch said this, it means that he has recognized me, so forget it, and don't think about anything else. Get ninjutsu first, beat that Ryoma guy. Master Patriarch, I need ninjutsu now. Quan said directly without being polite. Ninjutsu, no problem. Fugaku smiled lightly. You wait here first. As he said that, Fugaku walked to the nearby bookshelf, picked up a book, and handed it to Izumi. Look first. This is. Izumi glanced at Fugaku. This is the ninjutsu catalog of our Uchiha clan. When Quan heard the words, he secretly snapped his tongue. Just the catalog of ninjutsu is so thick. Well, how many ninjutsu should there be? As expected of our Uchiha family. After a burst of pride surged in Quan Nei's heart. Then I opened the ninjutsu catalog. The first scene that catches the eye is the Great Fireball technique, Phoenix Immortal Fire technique, Great Fire Dragon technique. Quan was dazzled for a moment. Chewing too much, Izumi, you can choose 4 ninjutsu. Fugaku added. Hi, hearing this, Quan didn't feel disappointed. After all, there were a lot of 4. In order to find the ninjutsu that suits him, Izumi searched very seriously. Until half an hour later. Quan Fang Kaihei Jonin Art Catalog. Uncle, I have chosen. I want Fengxiangwo technique, Body Flicker technique, Sharingan Hypnosis and Narakujian technique. Quan said. None of the ninjutsu levels Izumi chose were very high. The highest is only B grade. However, Yiquan has already opened his eyes to talent. It is not difficult to learn. After Fugaku heard Izumi's words, he was very relieved. Kwon is not the kind of supercilious person. Otherwise, he still doesn't know how much it will take to convince the other party. Izumi made a good choice. Fire style and illusion are the housekeeping skills of our Uchiha family. Body flicker technique is also a must-learn technique for ninjas. Shisui has earned the name of Shisui based on this. Kwon smiled. The reason why she chose body flicker technique was not because of Shisui's name, but because Ryoma kicked her 3 times, all using body flicker technique. If she wants to break Ryoma's trick, she must understand the peculiarities and weaknesses of this trick, and it is best to learn it herself. Unfortunately, Fugaku didn't know the reason. He just turned around, picked up 4 small scrolls from the bookshelf, and handed them to Izumi. Thank you, uncle. I'll take my leave first. After Kwon got what he wanted. I can't wait to leave here, start learning ninjutsu early, and strive to defeat Ryoma as soon as possible. Wait, Fugaku called to Izumi. Is there anything else to do, uncle? Izumi stopped and looked at Fugaku. Fugaku didn't answer, but took out a bulging envelope from the drawer and handed it to Izumi. This is. Kwon seemed to understand what was in the envelope. He hesitated, and didn't follow it right away. This is an eye-opening reward for you. It's the rule of the clan, you are no exception, take it. Fugaku laughed. Thank you, uncle. When Kwon heard the words, he took it with peace of mind. Izumi exited Fugaku's study, declined Makoto's lunch invitation, and left Fugaku's house after pinching Sasuke's steamed bun face. Walking on the road, Kwon curiously opened the bulging envelope. The envelope is so big, I don't know how much money is inside. Although Kwon is from the Uchiha family. However, her family's economic conditions are not very good. Her father died early, and her mother was a vegetable seller. However, now that Uchiha and the village are almost on fire, few outsiders come to patronize her family's business, and they can only do business with acquaintances. The money they earn is enough for them to live. She wanted to get some pocket money from it, but it was not so easy. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000. There are 500,000. The patriarch's move is too arrogant. Quote, Kwon couldn't help cheering, and then drew out 10,000 taels from it. Then, he ran home as fast as he could and handed the envelope to his mother. Mom, this is what the patriarch rewarded me after I opened my eyes. After speaking, before his mother could speak, Kwon jumped out of the house like a rabbit, heading for the practice field near Uchiha's house. This kid, wasn't he very quiet before? Why did he become so hot all of a sudden? Kwon's mother seemed to be blaming, but actually looked at her daughter's disappearing figure dotingly. House of Hyuga. At this time, Ali was also working hard to practice. Kwon has opened his eyes, and Ryoma's performance is even more eye-catching. She has moved the pressure. In order not to be left behind by the two of them, she could only practice harder. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 32 palms. Come again. 32 palms, 64 palms. Come again. Revolving heaven, revolving heaven, revolving heaven. Ali's efforts made the people below start talking. Miss Lee, what's wrong? Who knows, it must have been stimulated outside. I think so. After Ryoma came out from Yuhihong's house, she returned home directly. Take out the spiritual refining technique given by Yuhihong to study and observe. After half an hour of research, he found that spiritual refinement and chakra refinement have the same effect and are closely related. Chakra refining is to manipulate the spiritual power to extract energy from the cells, so that the spiritual power and the extracted energy are mixed together. And spiritual refinement is to temper the spiritual power while extracting useful nutrients from chakra to strengthen the spirit. According to Ryoma's guess, this should be regarded as a kind of yin escape chakra refining technique. It is not difficult to practice. Just like practicing chakra refining. It took about a week for Ryoma to practice the chakra refining technique to succeed. With the experience of practicing chakra refining, step by step, Ryoma estimates that he only needs 3 or 4 days to get started with this spiritual refining technique. With a goal, there is nothing to say, just go straight to work. Time flies. More than half a month has passed. In the past half month, the relationship between Ryoma and Ali has become better and better. Without Kwon's intrusion, she was always so gentle and quiet. It is so comfortable to talk to anyone. Kwon spent the past half-month very low-key, neither seeking trouble from Ryoma nor seeking trouble from Ali. Every day, I am serious in class. Disappeared immediately after school. Ali, what are you going to eat next? In class, the teacher was drooling about third Hokage and his will of fire, while Ryoma asked Ali who was next to him boredly. Since Ichiraku Ramen met, the two became a pair of good friends cooking rice. In the beginning, Ryoma teased Ali. Later, Ali slowly discovered that the two of them eat together, it is extraordinarily delicious. Also started to invite Ryoma to cook together from time to time. I know there's a newly opened Odin, or else, let's try it after school. Ali said after thinking for a while. As a foodie, she does not refuse, and Ryoma discusses cooking with her in class. Odin, that's fine. It's such a happy decision. Ryoma's mouth is watering just thinking about what to eat. I really want to finish class right away. Give up, now is the first class. Ali rolled his eyes and said. Yeah, this is the first class. If I knew it earlier, I would use Shadow Clone for the class. At this time, Ryoma understood Zhou Xingxing's mood at that time. Quote. Ali, sleep. Since it's still early before school, let's go to bed. Want him to listen carefully. Impossible, absolutely impossible. I don't know how long it has been. Ryoma, wake up. Ali was still calling him. After school, looking at Lee in front of him, Ryoma squinted at Lee. It's a practical class. So it is. Ryoma suddenly realized. Playground. The same teacher, the same classmates. After the teacher said the opening remarks, it is still the old rules. Draw number balls. I don't know who will be the opponent this time. Better not get that Ryoma guy. That's right, this guy specializes in kicking people's butts. If he kicks him, it will be too embarrassing. That's right, classmate Kwon hasn't played with us much in the past half-month. Quote. Ryoma became famous half a month ago. Now, everyone avoids him like a tiger. Even Ali didn't want to get her. It's not that she's afraid of getting her kicked by Ryoma. It's that she's not sure of beating Ryoma. But Izumi, at this moment, was looking at Ryoma with burning eyes. The fighting spirit is getting higher and higher. Ryoma sensed Izumi's gaze, looking towards the spring. He met Kwon's burning eyes. Is this girl not convinced? Want to fight me again? Ryoma thought speechlessly. Izumi saw that Ryoma looked over. Instead of avoiding his gaze, he stared back even more sharply, with a provocative look on his face. Ryoma laughed. HMPH. Kwon snorted coldly, and stopped looking at Ryoma. It seems that Kwon still has a grudge about your 3 legs. Ali said with a gentle smile. As long as she can draw me, I will give her a chance to take revenge. Ryoma smiled faintly. Let's kick a few more times. Ali said with a gentle smile. If she can't get out of the way, there's nothing I can do about it. Ryoma shrugged. Soon, it was Ryoma's turn. Ryoma walked to the box, reached in and grabbed a numbered ball, glanced at it casually, handed it to the teacher for registration, and left. Behind him is Ali. 10-year-old girls develop a little earlier than boys, and Ali is also a little taller than Ryoma, so he is on his right. After Ali came back, Ryoma didn't ask her what number it was, and Ali didn't ask him what number it was either. Both chatted about other things. Soon, the teacher began to announce the start of actual combat. The first match was an unknown dragon battle. In the second game, Inuzuka Hana played against Fat Tiger, who had defeated Ryoma at the beginning, and Fat Tiger was beaten badly. In the third game, Uchiha Kwon played against Adai, and Adai was frightened. A look of disappointment flashed in Kwon's eyes, and he beat Adai in a bad mood. In the fourth match, Nobita played against Nobita, but Nobita had the upper hand and won the battle. After that, one after another. There has never been a chance for Ali and Ryoma to play. Ali, we shouldn't be assigned to the last match. Ryoma joked. Very likely. Ali narrowed his eyes slightly. The development of things often seems to be arranged by fate. After 2 more battles, the teacher announced again. 17th match, Atu vs Ah Cheng. The 2 people whose names were called out breathed a sigh of relief on the spot. Fortunately, my opponent is not those 2 big devils. Then, he went on stage with a happy face. After that, everyone soon realized that the last match was the highlight of this actual combat class. In this way, wouldn't the last match be Ryoma vs Ali? I don't know who suddenly spoke. Hearing this, the others couldn't help but gasped. While astonished, an unprecedented look of anticipation flickered in his eyes. As expected of the main event, we will watch it later. Only Kwon was very unwilling. It turned out that Ali got that guy Ryoma. Ryoma looked at Ali and smiled faintly. I didn't expect that we really got together. Ali also looked at Ryoma. When Won said, I only have one request, if I am not your opponent, you can't kick me anywhere. Look at what you said, what is our relationship? How could I kick you? He said. Ryoma inadvertently glanced at Ali's butt. Quite round. Kick it, it should be very cool. If you dare to kick me, I'll break up with you. Originally, Ali was very relieved, but after seeing Ryoma's eager eyes, he immediately lost his composure. This guy is not honest at all. So cruel. Ryoma frowned. At this moment, the teacher announced the 17th game, Awu won. It also announced the start of the next game. The last battle, number 35 Hugami vs No. 36 Moonlight Ryoma. I don't know, will Ali get his butt kicked by Ryoma? Probably not. Ali is not Kwon, she has such a good relationship with Ryoma, how could Ryoma kick her? That's not necessarily true. He's Ryoma, how could he be merciful because of his good relationship? That's right, he's Ryoma. He'll definitely kick Yi Lee's. You boys are too much. Come on, Ali. Defeat Ryoma. Since the two came on stage, the onlookers began to talk about it. He looked at them with wide eyes, for fear of missing the next good show. Although Kwon also thinks that Ryoma should not treat Lee like this, after all, their relationship is so good. But what if this guy Ryoma doesn't know what it means to be sympathetic to the sweet and the jade? If he gets hit on the head, he might kick Ali a few times. It better be like this. Kwon secretly prayed in his heart. Start. Seeing that Ryoma and Ali are ready, the teacher directly announced the start of the battle. Blind eyes. Ali rolled his eyes immediately and assumed a defensive posture. She didn't believe that she would be attacked by Ryoma in this way. Are you planning to use defense instead of offense? Ryoma frowned. To be undefeated is to win. Why not use defense instead of offense? Ali said gently. Unfortunately, you can't keep it. Be careful. Although Ryoma intends to fight Ali with 180 moves, but he doesn't have that ability, and his physical skills are not as good as Ali. If you play close combat with Ali, you will probably be hanged and beaten. If he wanted to win, he could only zoom in. That being the case, end the battle as soon as possible. Win style great breakthrough. I saw Ryoma put both hands together. A super strong storm erupted. All of a sudden, sand and stones flew away. What a strong storm. Ali, who was in the air vent, could best feel how terrifying the wind from Ryoma was. At that moment, she felt like she was about to be blown away. You can't sit still. Thinking about it, Ali quickly manipulated chakra to spew out from each acupuncture point. Revolving heaven. I saw Ali spinning at a high speed, and the chakra erupted from her body quickly formed a ball. The storm blown out by Ryoma couldn't invade it at all. It was swept away by the high-speed rotating ball. Use revolving heaven to resist the wind. Not a bad idea. However, my wind-style great breakthrough has already degenerated, and it's not so easy to crack. Ryoma smiled lightly. After 1 month of practice on the phone at 10 times the speed, it has already entered LV7, the state of perfection. If it is said that LV5 has achieved great success, it corresponds to 3rd Hokage's control of basic ninjutsu. Then LV6 has a fine-grained control, which is Madara's application of fire style, which can be released with just one hand together, and the power of fire style will be increased several times. When the ninjutsu has been cultivated to the level of LV7, it is no longer necessary to release ninjutsu. The power is stronger than LV6, and even the released ninjutsu can be manipulated again. At this point, that's the case with Ryoma. While increasing the output of the storm, he used the wind to pull the wind, so that the wind that had already blown behind Ali continued to spin back during the sweeping process. Gradually surrounded Ali. When Ali realized something was wrong, the storm had already formed a big tornado, trapping her tightly, and she didn't need to do it by herself. The tornado wrapped her around and spun rapidly. As it got to the end, Ollie's body became more and more uncontrollable. Gradually, it was swept up by the tornado and flew up. Fly to the sky. Ah! Amid Lee's screams, Ryoma stopped the blessing of wind-style great breakthrough, and manipulated the wind to disperse the wind that formed the tornado. Without the engulfment of the storm, Ollie immediately fell from the sky. Ryoma hurried over. Catch it in a princess hug. Are you okay? Ryoma smiled at Ollie in his arms. How can it be okay? Let me down. Ollie gave Ryoma a blank look, and after being put down by him, he knelt on the ground and retched for a while. Vomit. Dizzy. Ryoma quickly knelt down and patted Ollie on the back to make her feel better. At this time, the teacher and a group of students on the playground just woke up like a dream. Is everything that happened just now real? It feels so dreamy. You saw that too. Is it a tornado? I saw it too. So, everything we just saw is real. Wow, this guy Ryoma is so outrageous, he even played with a tornado. Kwon blinked his beautiful big eyes and looked at Ryoma not far away, who was patting Ali on the back, feeling weak for a while. Is this your true strength? Originally, I thought that since I couldn't meet the actual combat class, I would wait to compete with Ryoma after school. Result: as soon as Ryoma came up, a big one came directly. Let her realize that her strength is still far from Ryoma. Going to trouble him now is undoubtedly asking for humiliation. No, I admit that I am inferior to him in ninjutsu, but I can also use illusion, Sharingan hypnosis, Narukumi technique, and I have already started. Ryoma may not be able to stop this guy. However, if you start steadily, you should practice for a while before challenging him. HMPH, Ryoma, today, let me let you go. When this girl has mastered the illusion, I will settle accounts with you. You kicked my girl's 3 legs. This girl will remember you forever. You wait for me. Quote, 4 years of silence, 1 blockbuster, a genius. Ryoma is such a genius, it seems that it is necessary to report to Lord 3rd Generation. The middle-aged teacher looked at Ryoma's figure, a little hot. There is a genius in the class, not only does he have face, but also salary and bonuses come one after another. 18th actual battle, Moonlight. Ryoma wins. After the teacher announced the result, he walked towards the two of them. Ali, are you alright? After all, just now, Ali was blown so high by the tornado that the teacher was also afraid that she would get hurt. I'm fine, thank you, Teacher Tongren, for your concern. Ali shook his head. At this time, although her face was still pale, however, the breath has gradually stabilized. The dizzy head gradually became clear. That's good. Teacher Tongren felt relieved. The class is over. If that's the case, let's leave school early for you. Oh, everyone cheered, rushing over each other and running outside the school gate. Kwon glanced at Ryoma and Ali, didn't speak, and didn't stop for a long time, and left silently with the crowd. The teacher ignored them, and turned to look at Ryoma. Mr. Ryoma, the teacher knows that you and Ali have a good relationship. In addition, she was made like this by you, so you can send her back. Is that okay? Leave Ali to me, Teacher Tongren. Hear Ryoma's answer. Teacher Tongren nodded, and walked towards the Hokage office building with the materials in his hand. From time to time, only Ryoma and Ali are left on the playground of Nuoda. Is it better? Ryoma asked. Ali rolled his eyes and didn't want to talk to him. You look like this. Wait a minute, can you still eat Odin? Ryoma said in distress. Why not? As soon as the food was mentioned, Ali became energetic. I am like this now, I should eat more, so that I have enough energy to recover. Come on, help me up, let's eat Odin. Hokage house. After 3rd Hokage listened to Kishimoto's report. He took a deep breath of dry tobacco. Cough. Colleague, you have done a good job. In the future, you should report to me as much as possible about Ryoma. Hi, Kishimoto replied with a bow. Then the subordinate will leave first. After colleagues leave the office. 3rd Generation continued to look through the materials brought by colleagues. This document records the performance of everyone in Class A of the 4th grade this semester. Among them, the 2 actual battles of Ryoma were described in depth and detail by colleagues. 3rd Generation watched. Deepening again, he was impressed with Ryoma. Moonlight Ryoma. It used to be mediocre, but now it has sprung up. Judging from his performance, he didn't hide his clumsiness before, but he has made great progress recently. Interesting. What made him change so much? Third Hokage thought for a moment. In ninja world, there are no examples of late bloomers. When they were young, their performance was mediocre, but their progress was very stable, and their stamina was also quite strong. When others entered the bottleneck, they were still making progress. Then, slowly, little by little, surpass each other. However, the problem is that Ryoma has changed too much and improved too fast. Half a month ago, he was defeated by the mediocre Fat Tiger. After half a month, he was able to defeat Uchiha Izumi. Another half-month later, he was able to practice the ninjutsu wind-style great breakthrough into a tornado. Too exaggerated. By the way, the Moonlight family, their family has the blood successor boundary. Could it be that Ryoma has awakened the blood succession boundary, which led to the loss of talent? If it is like this. At this moment, there was a bang. The door to Hokage's office was opened. Third generation's train of thought was interrupted, and he stared out the door angrily. However, when he saw someone coming, most of the anger in my heart disappeared on the spot. Danzo, I've told you many times that this is Hokage's office, remember to knock on the door before you come in. Third generation said with a sullen face. It turned out to be Danzo. No wonder he was so rude. Third generation just talked and didn't get angry at him. Sarutobi, I have something to ask you. Danzo ignored what third generation said, walked into Hokage's office slowly, and said. What's the matter? Third generation asked impatiently. The Uchiha clan has become more and more restless recently. We don't have enough people. I want to recruit some talents in the village. Danzo really explained his intentions. Absorb some talents. Third generation immediately became vigilant. He had just finished listening to Kishimoto's colleague's report. Danzo came to the door to recruit people. No wonder he thought so much. Who do you want to recruit? Third generation naturally put his hand on the information on the table to cover it, and then asked calmly. Ninja school student Moonlight Ryoma. Impossible. Really? The third generation heard Danzo's words, but they didn't know what he was thinking. He refused without thinking. Sarutobi. Danzo's one eye shot up. It never occurred to him that before he could finish his sentence, third generation interrupted him unreasonably and refused his request. I've been paying attention to the child Ryoma recently, you should give up your heart. But we don't need a talent like him at all. Danzo said hastily. No need to say more. I can't agree to your request. Third generation said in a deep voice. Sarutobi. Danzo, I'm Hokage. Third generation went straight to the killer. Danzo is struck by lightning. This sentence from third generation was a one-hit kill for him. Even if he has thousands of reasons and thoughts, he can't match the light words of third generation. Sarutobi, you will regret it. Danzo forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart, gave third generation a cold look, and left Hokage's office without looking back. Third generation watched Danzo leave, pouted, just like you still want me to regret it. You are not far off. Cough cough. Third generation coughed twice. Calm down. Continue the train of thought just now. Think about it. He said, come here. Exist. Let the blast come to see me. Hi. Not long. Hayate arrives at Hokage's office wearing an Anbu costume but no mask. Master third generation, are you looking for me? Here we come, Gale. Hi. Moonlight Ryoma is your cousin. Third Hokage smiled kindly. Yes, Master third generation. Haifeng was a little puzzled, but he probably guessed that third generation called him over, probably because of his brother Moonlight Ryoma. Then you should have a good relationship with him. Third generation continued. It should be okay. Haifeng did not regard Ryoma as a rival in love. After all, Ryoma is only 10 years old, so what does he know? Shi Yan keeps rejecting him, it can't be because of him. But it's also true that he didn't pay much attention to Ryoma. Therefore, when speaking, it is inevitable that there is a little guilty conscience. So, do you know anything about his strength? Third generation asked. This, I don't understand very well. After hesitating for a while, Haifeng answered truthfully, and then explained. Master third generation, Ryoma lives with his cousin Xian, who has always been teaching him ninjutsu. So, then do you know what he's been up to lately? This. Haifeng scratched his head in embarrassment. The third generation is clear. Originally, I also wanted to know about Ryoma's situation from Hayate. As a result, Haifeng asked 3 questions and didn't know. He doesn't even know about Ryoma's recent performance, and it's probably impossible to know whether Ryoma has awakened the blood succession limit. After returning home, communicate more with Ryoma. Even relatives need to communicate to have feelings. Third generation slightly pointed out. Hi, sir. Third generation. After the third generation sent the blast away. Did not continue to toss about Ryoma. After all, he's just a kid who hasn't become a ninja yet. Even genius. It is not useful for the time being. In addition, the school was originally intended to cultivate talents for the village, and as the shadow of a village, all talents were used by him. There is no need to deliberately win over. After he rejected Danzo's request. Not afraid of Ryoma being abducted at all. Leaving the Hokage office, Haifeng is still thinking about what third generation said just now. What has Ryoma done recently to make Lord Third Generation pay attention to him? It seems that it is necessary to have a good exchange of feelings with this cousin. After all, this is also a task assigned by the third generation. Talking, Haifeng's eyes suddenly lit up. In this way, isn't it also an opportunity to get close to Xian? Sigh, why didn't I think of it before? Saying that, Haifeng slapped himself. Then, excitedly walked towards the food street. Newly opened small Odin shop. Finally eating. Ollie stroked his stomach contentedly. It feels so good to be full. Ryoma, pay the bill. For the sake of treating me to a full meal, I forgive you. Ollie glanced at Ryoma, and said a little arrogantly. Ryoma looked at Ali, who had recovered, and the corner of his mouth twitched. God knows, just such a meal, how much food Ali ate. His heart was bleeding at the thought of the money he would have to pay later. I know, I did a little too much before, but you don't need to retaliate against me like this. After eating this meal, I guess I will have to eat instant noodles for a month. Then it's none of my business. Ollie smiled triumphantly like a little fox. Boss, pay the bill. How proud Ryoma is when he shouts, how frustrated he is when he walks out of the store. Okay, don't be like this, it's a big deal, I'll just treat you to a meal tomorrow. Ali looked at Ryoma's appearance, and then thought about his wallet, and couldn't help but sigh. It's more or less like this. Ryoma regained his energy in an instant. As always, the two wandered the sparsely populated streets to digest. Until it was completely dark. Only then went back to each home. When Ryoma returned home, Xian also prepared a table of meals. Ryoma is back, sit down. It's time to start. Hi. When Ryoma heard this, she responded naturally. I didn't feel embarrassed at all because I had a meal before. In the past half a month, he has figured out a way to eat 2 meals without feeling uncomfortable. The two just moved their chopsticks. The door is knocked. Who will it be at this time? Shi Yangziu frowned slightly. Although he was a little dissatisfied with someone coming to visit at this time, he still went to open the door for the other party. Yaofang, why is it you? Shi Yan just opened the door when she saw the sickly face of Haifeng. Suddenly, the dissatisfaction in my heart became even worse. Xian, good evening. I'm here to see Ryoma. Look, I brought sushi here. Gaifeng showed a smile that he thought was handsome, and lifted the big round box in his hand. To see Ryoma, Xian frowned, but she didn't refuse. After all, Hayate is Ryoma's cousin, naturally has the right to visit Ryoma. As a cousin, she has no way to stop her. Come in, Shi Yan said. Let the blast in. Ryoma, your brother Gaifeng is here to see you. Shi Yan called out before she arrived. Hayate came to see me. What's the situation? Ryoma frowned. Could this guy be pretending to come to see me, approaching Sister Xian? For a while, Ryoma didn't think that this was the idea of third generation. Xian quickly returned to the restaurant with Gale. Ryoma, come, see what brother I brought you. As soon as the blast came in, he began to show off the big food box in his hand. Sushi, that's a good guess. After coughing twice, Gaifeng smiled sickly. However, what he didn't expect was that after hearing this, Ryoma was not only not happy, but also showed a touch of disgust. There's no sashimi in it. Of course, sushi without sashimi is incomplete sushi. I specially ask them to prepare the highest grade tuna fillets and deep sea salmon fillets. Guaranteed to make your mouth full of oil. Hayate obviously didn't see Ryoma's expression. He put the food box on the table and opened Shikai to unpack it. He also said triumphantly, I even secretly praised my emotional intelligence in my heart. Well, brother Hayate, before you come to see me, don't you know my hobbies? I don't eat sashimi, Ryoma said with a twitch in the corner of his mouth. Whether in his previous life or this life, he has no feeling for sashimi. I was lucky enough to eat salmon once, and just put it in the mouth, I couldn't help but spit it out. Since then, he hasn't touched this thing again. Gale action froze. I was so embarrassed that my toes almost snapped out of the 4 rooms and 1 living room. It's okay, Ryoma, if you don't like sashimi, then eat the dishes cooked by my sister, and let Haifeng eat these raw fish by himself. Shion said with a forced smile. Okay, sister, sit down and eat with Hayate, although you didn't buy the right gift, but it's rare to come to see Ryoma once, and you can also eat the sushi you bought yourself. Shi Yan said. Okay, Haifeng was embarrassed and helpless. Sorry Ryoma, I didn't know you didn't like sashimi, what do you like? Tell me, I'll buy it for you next time I visit you. That's not necessary, we will buy what we want to eat. But then again, brother Hayate, it's so good, why do you want to come and see me? Ryoma asked. He wanted to see what kind of medicine was sold in Haifeng's gourd. Ahem, look at what you said, we're brothers, it's okay, so I can't come and see you. Gaifeng said unnaturally. However, after my parents passed away, big brother Haifeng came to me only because of sister Shion, but he never thought of coming to see me. Ryoma said with a faint smile. Hayate's pale face couldn't help but turn red after Ryoma's words. It seems that nothing can be hidden from you, well, then I will say it straight. Today, Lord Third Generation summoned me and asked me a lot of questions about you. However, I couldn't answer any of them, so why don't I come to communicate with you now? Ryoma, what the hell have you been doing lately? Getting so much attention from Lord Third Generation. Quote, Third Generation already follows me. Well, Danzo should be calling my attention too. After hearing the words of the blast, Ryoma stared slightly. It seems that it was too high profile before. He didn't regret it. It's just that he still needs time to develop. After several of his ninjutsu are upgraded to supernatural powers. No matter how bad he is, no one will dare to do anything to him. Haifeng, you are a really good brother, you don't even know what Ryoma has done recently. Shi Yan couldn't help but sneer. I'm busy. Although Haifeng said so, his confidence was somewhat lacking. Forget it, sister Shion, don't tease brother Haifeng, I'll tell him. Ryoma said, and roughly described his performance in school this month with Haifeng. Haifeng was also stunned for a while. I see, I didn't expect that you, Ryoma, have changed so much. No wonder the adults of the third generation have started paying attention to you. Boy, you have a future, you have entered the sight of the third generation now, and you will not be able to take off in the future. When the time comes, don't forget to take care of your brother. Quote, it's easy to say, Ryoma laughed. By the way, Ryoma, have you awakened through escape? Haifeng asked again. Why do you ask this? Ryoma smiled faintly. The awakening of blood successor boundary will allow people to undergo a round of metamorphosis. It may change one's talent. I suspect that the reason why you are so powerful is because your blood successor boundary has awakened. Moonlight Gale said, looking at Ryoma. Oh, brother Haifeng, did you undergo a round of transmutation when you awakened? Ryoma looked at Haifeng curiously after hearing this. No, my health has been bad since I was a child, and it doesn't support my talent transformation. Gaifeng shook his head a little disappointed. However, some seniors of our family, after awakening through the tunnel, their talents are indeed better than before. I see. Gale is gone. I left with a stomach full of doubts and depression. Until the end, Ryoma didn't tell him whether he had awakened or not. Even because of giving the wrong gift, she has been ridiculed by her sweetheart. Even the sushi bought at a huge sum of money is tasteless. However, Ryoma and Shion were not affected by the blast. After the meal, the two walked out of the house and felt the prosperity of Konoha. It's almost digested. Let's soak in a beautiful hot spring together. The taste in it is not enough for outsiders to understand. Shiyan drank hot spring. When he came out, his legs were weak, his eyes were blurred, and his face was flushed. Ryoma, on the other hand, is much more energetic. Walking is buoyant. Shiyan was carried home by Ryoma. Time flies like water. Half a year passed in the blink of an eye. In the past 6 months, Ryoma has lived quite comfortably. After some convergence, he's still brilliant, but no longer out of line. Third generation Danzo didn't bother him. Every day, he either cooks with Ali or goes to the hot spring with Shiyan. This day makes Ryoma a little bit sad. This day, the teacher gave a passionate speech on the desk. Ryoma was sleeping soundly on the table. Suddenly there was a ding. Reminder. The chakra refining technique has transcended Zochin and is undergoing transformation. Ryoma is a thrill. Sit straight up 1. His big movements. In an instant, it attracted the attention of many students and teachers around the institute. Moonlight Ryoma, if you don't want to hear it, the teacher should pretend you didn't see it, but you can't disturb other students. I'm sorry, teacher, I had a nightmare. Ryoma scratched her head and said, excuse me. This teacher knows Ryoma's actual combat results. Cultural lessons are important though. However, combat power is the foundation of ninja. If nothing else, Ryoma will be the mainstay of Konoha. So, he gave Ryoma a lot of face and gently lifted it. You guy, you actually have nightmares. It's really rare. Ali, who was at the same table, teased gently after the teacher didn't pay attention. I lied to the teacher, otherwise how could he forgive me so easily? Ryoma glanced at Ali and said. It's really cunning. Ali smiled lightly. Don't talk, let me mic for a while. Ryoma said, and lay down on the table again. Seeing this, Ali was only bored. Also no longer pay attention to him. System. Host. Moonlight Ryoma. Hook up. 9. 10 speed hang up. Wind style great breakthrough LV10 technique 94 100ths. System evaluation. Your wind style has come to the end of the technique, completely out of the scope of the original technique, whether it is shape change, nature transformation, or power, it is all within your one thought. Further up is supernatural powers. 10 times speed hang up, empty. 5 speed hang up, body replacement technique LV8 penultimate extraordinary 3 100ths. System evaluation. Your understanding of this technique has surpassed everyone in the ninja world. It will turn into your instinct, and it only takes your one thought whether to perform the spell or not. Within 50 meters, you can replace yourself with any object. 5 speed hang up. Shadow clone technique LV7 superb 98 100ths. System evaluation. You know this ninjutsu like the back of your hand, you can bring forth new ones from the old, and you can perform them without the need for ninjutsu. At most 1 clone with 100% combat power can be created, and 10 clones with no side effects. 5 speed hang up. Body flicker technique LV7 superb 55 100ths. System evaluation. You know this ninjutsu like the back of your hand, you can bring forth new ones from old ones, and you can perform them without seals. It can move up to 100 meters at a time, and there is no limit to the number of uses. Normal speed hang up. Spiritual refining technique LV5 achievement 77 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Narakumi technique LV5 Junji Dachung 67 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Lightning style discharge LV6 control into micro 4 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Basic swordsmanship LV5 achievement 93 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Healing LV2 leisure 12 100ths. Available hooks. Transformation technique LV5 clone technique LV5 shuriken throwing technique LV5 dance of the crescent moon LV1 leaf hurricane LV1 steel fist LV1. Supernatural power. Refining chi. You can extract energy from food to strengthen your body or transform it into chakra. Is this the supernatural power after the chakra refining technique is upgraded? Practicing refined gas. It's really a good supernatural power. That way, I don't have to squeeze energy out of my cells. I can strengthen the body and nourish the cells by refining food, and I can also convert excess energy into chakra and store it in the dantian. With this supernatural power, I have broken the shackles of ninjas, and it is possible to live forever in the future. Orochimaru's lifelong pursuit may have been achieved by me inadvertently. Quote. Ryoma was overwhelmed with emotion. This supernatural power is too useful for him. It's not in vain that he has been putting it on the 10 times speed hanging position. Since the chakra refining technique can be upgraded to a supernatural power like refinement and transformation of chi, then the spiritual refinement technique should also be upgraded to practicing chi and turning into a god. Thinking about it, Ryoma directly transferred the mental refinement technique from the normal speed hanging position to the 10 times fast hanging machine. After thinking about it for a while, I moved the dance of the March Sun from on hook to normal speed on hook. Ding. 10 times faster hang up. Spiritual refining technique LV5 achievement 78 100ths. Normal speed hang up. Dance of the Three Suns and the Moon LV1 cross pass 67 100ths. Before I knew it, I had already practiced so many skills that I didn't even have enough points for a position. Ryoma's heart was full of emotion. Think back to half a year ago. He's new here. Even a small fat tiger can't beat it. Now, he has all the supernatural abilities. That year, I put my hands in my pockets, and I didn't even know what an opponent was. Ryoma couldn't help pretending to be a good. The next moment, he realized something was wrong. Oops, I accidentally said it. At this time, the class was silent. Everyone turned to look at Ryoma lying on the table. Immediately afterwards, a burst of laughter came. Teacher took pictures of the table several times in a row before suppressing the laughter in the class. Ryoma-kun, what did you dream about this time? The teacher suppressed a smile and put on a serious look. I dreamed that I defeated the demon and saved the world. Ryoma raised her head and said helplessly. So, you put your hands in your pockets, and you don't know who your opponent is. The teacher joked with a straight face. That's it. What else could Ryoma say? Ha ha ha. Everyone in the class couldn't help laughing out loud again. It's almost enough. Today, you are not allowed to sleep. If you sleep again, I will punish you. The teacher said with a straight face. Understood. Ryoma nodded. He didn't intend to go back to sleep anyway. After school, Ali, let's go, let's eat barbecue. Let's compete today, who can eat more, and the loser will pay the bill. Ryoma's self-confidence immediately swelled after getting the refined energy. The original oath was long forgotten by him. Are you sure? Ali's eyes lit up. Whoever repents will be a puppy. Ryoma said forcefully. Okay, Ali naturally would not refuse such a thing. She didn't think Ryoma could beat her. Someone wanted to pay for her, why not do it? The two walked out of the campus together. Suddenly a cry came from behind. Ryoma, wait a minute. Ryoma couldn't help but stop and look back when she heard the coquettish shout. It turned out that Kwon was walking towards them. So it's Izumi, what can I do for you? Ryoma asked with a smile. Ryoma, compete with me again. Izumi directly explained the purpose of coming, and her eyes became sharp in an instant, and she was full of fighting spirit. Ryoma was taken aback, immediately understood what Kwon meant. It's been half a year, why are you still brooding about it? Look at me, I've already forgotten about it. I didn't realize it for a while when you said there was a competition. I thought you were going to compete with us in eating more. Quote. HMPH, you were not the one who was kicked back then, of course you can forget it, but I will never. Kwon snorted coldly. It's been half a year since you came to challenge me, so now you have the confidence to beat me. Ryoma looked at Kwon playfully. That's right, Kwon said confidently. Her past 6 months have not been in vain. With an obsession in her heart, she has been practicing in addition to attending classes for the past 6 months, and even Itachi is about to quit. She believes that with her hard work in the past 6 months, she will be able to defeat Ryoma. Hey, let me tell you, you little girl, why do you always think about fighting and killing? In addition to fighting and killing, the ninja world also has sophistication. Ryoma said. Why are you talking so much? Are you scared? Kwon challenged. How about this, let's have 2 direct competitions, one for martial arts and one for martial arts, this way, I can satisfy your request without wasting time with Ali. How? said Ryoma. Kwon heard the words, thought for a while, and asked, how do you compare the literary ones, and how do you compare the martial arts? When is to compare who eats more? The loser pays the bill. Wu is to compare as you want. Ryoma said. Yes. Kwon heard Ryoma's words, and agreed without thinking too much. In the past 6 months, I have practiced so hard and ate a lot. Just right, eat this guy for a meal. While helping the family reduce the burden, also charge some interest. Ryoma can't read minds, so naturally he doesn't know what Kwon is thinking. However, after Kwon agreed, both Ryoma and Lee laughed. In that case, why are you still standing there? Let's go. Not long after, the 3 of them came to a barbecue restaurant. Waiter, serve us 30 plates of barbecue first. Just sat down, Ryoma said to the waiter who led them to sit down. 30 dishes. The waiter thought he had heard it wrong. After all, she had never seen such an outrageous guest. Just 30 dishes. You heard me right, it's 30 dishes. If 30 dishes are not enough, we will continue to order. Ryoma said. Okay, please wait a moment, guest. As soon as the waiter left, Kwon immediately asked. I said Ryoma, are you serious about ordering 30 plates of roast meat? You think it's too little? Ryoma glanced at Kwon, thinking she thought it was too little. What are you kidding? 1 plate is 1 catty of meat, 10 plates is 10 catties. If you order 30 plates, do you think the 3 of us can finish it? Kwon asked. After Ryoma and Ali looked at each other, they couldn't help laughing. What are you two laughing at? Kwon asked unhappily. At first I thought you would be an opponent. But you are so weak. You can't even eat 10 plates of meat, how dare you compare with Ryoma who eats more? Ali smiled gently. Weak spring. HMPH, say I'm weak, I'd like to see how much you can eat. Kwon said unconvinced. Wait a minute and don't doubt life. Ryoma played with taste. HMPH, playing tricks. Kwon rolled his eyes. Seeing this, Ryoma didn't say any more. Soon, the barbecue came. There are 30 plates, which cover the whole table and still can't fit, and there is still a small half in the delivery car. Let's get started, 10 games per person. As Ryoma said, Ali skillfully started to grill the meat. Slices are baked, and slices enter the stomach. There are fewer and fewer dishes around Ryoma and Ali. Seeing this scene, Kwon couldn't calm down at all. Why are you so fast? There is no one else, but I am familiar with it. Ali laughed. Wrong, it's the belly. Ryoma corrected. After a while, Kwon's whole face was twisted in a tangled state. How can you still eat? What, you can't eat anymore? Ryoma glanced at her and smiled slightly. Where is this? The real battle has not yet begun. Who said that? Kwon immediately denied. Then he took another piece of roasted meat and put it in his mouth. As a result, after chewing for a long time, I didn't finish eating. Kwon, I'll give you a piece of advice. Enough is enough, admit defeat, you can't beat us, so why bother to make a fuss? Ali said softly while eating the barbecue. No, I will never admit defeat. 30 plates of barbecue, how much does that cost? I don't want to pay you. Ryoma glanced at Kwon and laughed. Boss, another 20 plates of meat. Okay, you want more. Kwon was completely startled. Where are we going? Ryoma and Ali looked at each other and smiled tacitly. 20 minutes later, Ryoma and Ali cleared their 20 plates. An hour later, both sides cleared 50 sets. 2 hours later, 100 trays were emptied. Kwon was completely dumbfounded, not just because of their food intake. Also, she lost. According to the bet, she had to pay the bill. How much does she have to pay? As soon as this account was calculated, Kwon was shocked by reality and his eyes were dazed. How can you eat so well today? Ali looked at the still strong Ryoma, not only surprised, but also vaguely felt that he might lose to Ryoma today. HMPH. Didn't expect that. Ryoma smiled triumphantly. Another piece of roast meat came into his mouth. Today, I will definitely defeat you, Ali. Yeah, I'm waiting. Boss, play another 20 games. Another hour later, the two emptied 120 trays, and changed the charcoal in the oven. At this moment, Ali also felt a little overwhelmed. Ryoma, can you still eat? Of course. Ryoma grinned. Practicing refined chi is a supernatural power. Once it works, the food in the stomach will be quickly decomposed and refined. In the end, everything is converted into energy, absorbed by Ryoma and dispersed throughout the body. The more he ate, the warmer his body became. Moisturizes in all directions. Until the body can no longer absorb it. That energy will be refined into chi and flow into the dantian opened up by the magical power of refining and transforming chi. In this case, Ryoma felt that he could eat for 3 days and 3 nights. Don't ask if I slept or not for the past 3 days. Okay, you won. Ali smiled wryly. Waiter, check out. Ali called out to the waiter not far away. Kwan's petite body trembled. What should come is still here. Heartbroken, he took out 4 10,000 taels of bills from his pocket, as well as a lot of small change. Suppressing her crying, she said, I only have so much money now, can you put the rest on your shoulders first, and then return it to you when I have money, and you can also accrue interest. Don't be stupid, I'm just kidding you. Ali didn't expect that Kwan was really going to pay for them. You know, Kwan ate less than 7 dishes. She and Ryoma ate more than 100 plates alone. Even if Ryoma and Kwan have a bet, Ali is too embarrassed to ask Kwan to settle the bill. Hello, the 3 spent a total of 150,000 taels, who will pay the bill? The waiter said politely. Big customer. Usually, it is difficult for them to sell so much barbecue in a day, but today, the 3 of them ate more barbecue than they sold in a day, making a fortune. I'll do it. Ali took out a card. Use the waiter's POS machine, swipe, and the bill is settled. I have to say that although the technology tree of the Hokage world is a bit crooked, there are still some things that should be there. Such as bank cards. Let's go, what are you still doing? Ryoma stood up, looked at Izumi who was still in a daze, and couldn't help but let out a cry. Oh. Kwan came back to his senses and hurriedly followed the 2 of them. I have already lost the bet, Ali, why are you rushing to pay the bill? Kwan asked in confusion. In her opinion, since a bet is made, if it loses, it is natural to fulfill it. Even if she has no money, she will fulfill it. At most, it is to owe first, and pay it back later. You really are a cute and innocent girl. Ali smiled faintly. You and Ryoma have already decided the outcome, and Ryoma eats so much, it is naturally impossible to count it all on your head. I also have a bet with Ryoma, since I lost, I have to fulfill it. Quote. Then I'll give you my share of the money. Kwan said after thinking for a while. She didn't really want to owe Ali any favors. Don't be so fussy, just treat it as my invitation. Ali said. At most, if you invite me to eat once, it will be even. The corner of Kwan's mouth twitched when he thought of Ali's appetite. However, this time, she still accepted Ali's love. Therefore, he gritted his teeth, nodded and said, okay, next time, I'll treat you. Ali glanced at Kwan, as if thinking of something, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Looks like I'm in a good mood. By the way, Ryoma, Izumi, isn't there another fight between you? How about going to the training ground where we met? Ali is right, let's go there. Speaking of this, Kwan's gaze became sharp again in an instant. That's right, the kebab shop incident. Kwan's perception of Ali and Ryoma has improved. However, the 3-legged revenge must be avenged. I've just eaten enough, and I want to fight and kill you. I really convinced you. Okay, since you want revenge, then I will give you a chance. Ryoma glanced at Izumi who was already on top. No rejection either. After all, it wasn't a big deal to him at all. Big deal, give her another kick. It's still the driving range. At this time, the sun was about to set. The red sun burns the clouds. Dusk. The crow crows. It's getting dark, let's start quickly. Beat up early and call it quits. Ryoma said to Izumi. Sharingan. Uchiha Izumi didn't back down and opened Sharingan directly. The crimson eyes locked on Ryoma instantly. Sharingan hypnosis. At the moment of opening Sharingan, Kwan released the hypnosis illusion directly. If it is an ordinary ninja, facing this move, it is impossible to defend against it. Unfortunately, Izumi's opponent is Ryoma. Ryoma is now also a Grandmaster Illusion, and has upgraded the spirit refining technique to LV5 Dachung Realm. It's not that Kwan, AC level illusion, can hypnosis at all. Kwan stared at Ryoma for a long time. Nothing happened to Ryoma. However, Ryoma clearly felt that there was something strange about Izumi's Sharingan. Are you using an illusion on me? Ryoma asked uncertainly. Quan was hit hard for a while. I've been staring at you for so long, and you still haven't noticed. Quan found that the greatest humiliation in this world is that I have tried my best, and you still don't realize it. No, of course, Quan couldn't admit that he had used illusion. Then he said, stop fighting, I'm not in the mood. Quan directly took back the Sharingan. It's getting dark, I'm going home. Before Ryoma could react, Quan hurried away, leaving Ryoma there scratching his head. This woman, what is she doing? Don't you know? Ali gave him a blank look. Okay, I know, I just didn't expect her to be so quick. Ryoma shrugged. Physical arts can't beat you, ninjutsu can't beat you, and illusion is useless now. If she does it again, it will be a headshot. Ali laughed happily. That's right, if she chooses to force it, she might have to get kicked. Ryoma said with a faint smile. Night, 0 hours 0 minutes 0 seconds. Most of the people in Konoha are already asleep. Ryoma had also fallen asleep. At this time, his system started to operate automatically. Ding! It is detected that the host already possesses magical powers, and the system starts to upgrade. At the same time, a kind of power hidden in Ryoma's blood was gradually revived with the stimulation of Ryoma's refinement of chi. The next day, I'm going, what's going on here? Host, Moonlight Ryoma, Hook Up, available on Hook, through Dun LV1. Shareable on Hook Supernatural Power, Refining Gas Primary. Explanation. The host can share the supernatural power, refinement of chi, with 10 people. After outsiders get the ability of host, they can be called family members. Families can share up to 3 different magical powers with the host. After the family members obtain the host's supernatural powers, they can also practice and comprehend them. Every time they improve, they will return 10 times to the host. How to use. Use the blood of both parties to establish a shared brand. When I woke up, I not only awakened the blood successor boundary, to done. Even the system has been updated. Quote, for a while, Ryoma didn't know what to say. Wait a few days after Wind-style Great Breakthrough upgrades the supernatural powers, and I will set the penetration to 10 times the speed. After all, it is the blood successor limit of the Moonlight Clan, and the potential should be extraordinary. As for sharing supernatural powers and developing the family, the first thing Ryoma thinks of is Shion. The master-family relationship is not the master-servant relationship. He cannot control the life and death of the family members. At most, it is to increase the favor of the family members towards the Lord. Similar to gods and believers. Of course, if the family members feel rebellious against the Lord can also feel it in an instant, and can deprive all the supernatural powers and memories shared with the family in a single thought. Therefore, Ryoma immediately thought of Shiyan. Because, Shion is the person he trusts the most at present. Similarly, if he wants to develop his family in the future, he will only choose people he trusts, and will not easily share his supernatural powers with others. After breakfast, sister, I have something to tell you. Ryoma said to Shion with a straight face. What's the matter? Shion asked casually. Tell me in my room. Ryoma said. Shiyan's pretty face flushed red. It was obviously wrong. Sister, what are you thinking? Ryoma was speechless looking at Shiyan's expression. It's you who said it unclearly, how can you blame me for thinking wildly? Shiyan retorted with some embarrassment. The two stumbled and walked into Ryoma's room. Then Ryoma bolted the door. What's going on? It's so mysterious. Shion looked at Ryoma's actions, and still couldn't help but wonder. Sister, recently I got an ability to share what I know with others. Ryoma said with a straight face. Ryoma, are you serious? Shion's face changed slightly when she heard this, and she looked at Ryoma very seriously. Shiyan had never heard of this ability before. Listening to it now, she instantly felt extremely terrifying. Once it is exposed, it is not known what disturbance will arise. Well, after having this ability, I immediately thought of you, sister. Sister, become my family member, I want to share a supernatural power with you. Ryoma said in a deep voice. Ryoma, are there any other side effects of this ability? Shiyan didn't immediately agree, but asked about it instead. She wasn't afraid that Ryoma would do something to her. What she was afraid of was whether Ryoma's use of this ability would impose any burden on himself. It doesn't have any side effects on me, but after my sister and I sign a contract, my sister's affection for me will be stronger. Ryoma didn't hide it from Shion, and directly explained the side effects to Shion. Shion's pretty face instantly turned rosy. However, after hearing that there was no side effect on Ryoma, he nodded and said, "Okay, sister is willing to be your family. Next, what should I do?" "Sister, give me a drop of blood," Ryoma said. "Okay." Shion pulled out 1,000 copies that she carried with her, and pricked her index finger. Blood soaked out instantly. Ryoma pressed Shion's bleeding index finger with his index finger, and his hand was stained with Shion's blood. "Sister, give me Chinbin." "Good." Ryoma took the 1,000 books from Shion and pricked her index finger, which was stained with Shion's blood. From time to time, Ryoma's blood also soaked out. The two kinds of blood blended together on Ryoma's index finger, and with Ryoma's operation, they finally disappeared. After a second, there has been a vague connection between Ryoma and Shion. Afterwards, Ryoma operated the system and shared the supernatural power of refinement of Qi with Shi Yan. Ding. Practicing refined gas has been shared. One person. Family. Uyu Shion. Okay, my sister can feel it. Shion heard Ryoma's words and followed suit. Close your eyes and concentrate, feeling your body quietly. After half a sound, Shion opened her eyes and looked at Ryoma with a look of shock. Then he hugged Ryoma excitedly. "Ryoma, you are too powerful, whether it is sharing abilities or refining Qi. All beyond my imagination, especially practicing refined Qi. For me, no, for all ninjas, there is an irresistible temptation. It works too powerfully. With it, my sister is confident that in the next few years, she will definitely become an elite Jonin like Kakashi-senpai." Quote. Shi Yan's imagination is still not high enough. In other words, she didn't even dare to think about the existence above Kakashi. "You are my sister, I have something good, so I will share it with you as soon as possible." Ryoma hugged Shion's slender waist and said in a good mood. Shion has been taking care of him all along. Now that he can give back to Shion, it is also a reward. Shi Yan heard Ryoma's words, she couldn't help but let go of Ryoma, pinched Ryoma's chin with one hand, and lifted it up. He said in a domineering tone, "Sister, I don't just want to be Ryoma's sister." After the words fell, she kissed her directly. Ryoma's eyes widened suddenly. Was kissed by force. How can this work? I want to turn against the customer. Until a long time, the two were loose. You look at me, I look at you, holding your breath and smiling happily. Okay, let's go to school, it's already late. Since you're already late, don't rush for a while, come again. Come on. Second class in the morning. Ryoma caught up anyway. What are you looking at me for? From the moment he entered the classroom, Ollie's eyes seemed to have been moving back and forth on his face. It made Ryoma feel a little uncomfortable. What's the matter with your mouth? Why is it swollen so exaggeratedly? Ali asked. It's up to you. Ryoma looked away with some guilt. I couldn't help complaining in my heart, Sister Shion was using too much force. Alas, the healing skill level is still too low, otherwise. It should be back on when I go out. Ha ha ha, it must have been swollen by a woman's kiss. Ali teased. I wipe, you know this. However, it is impossible to admit that. If you don't admit it, isn't that just a guilty conscience? Ryoma had a sudden brain teaser, giggled and said, yes, I was swollen by your kiss. Ali grabbed the soft flesh around Ryoma's waist and twisted it hard. I let you talk nonsense. Hiss, what are you doing? Let go. It hurts so much. At this moment, Alwei who sat behind Ryoma and Ali yelled, wow. Ma Long's mouth was swollen by Ali's kiss. This guy has a talent for spreading rumors, and with just one sentence, he has attracted everyone's attention. Swish swish swish. All the eyes of the class were instantly focused on Ryoma and Ali. Wow, it's no big deal to eat melons one by one, and they all followed suit. Hee hee, I knew that the two of them had an adulterous affair. No, let's expose it. I really envy Ryoma, Miss Ali is so beautiful and gentle. They are already 11 years old, and they haven't kissed yet. I really want to find a boy to kiss. A Jew, what do you think of me? Roll. It turns out that they already have this kind of relationship. Kwon blinked his beautiful big eyes. There is something unpleasant in my heart. She definitely won't admit that she likes Ryoma anymore. Just because of those 3 feet. Let her miss Ryoma for half a year. I think about him when I eat, and I think about him when I sleep. When practicing ninjutsu, the target is imagined to be him. She can turn into Ryoma when she sees anything that is not pleasing to the eye. Ryoma has almost become her obsession. Now, the obsession in her heart actually feels like being snatched away by someone. She was not used to this feeling. Neither Ryoma nor Lee, who were fighting, expected that one day they would be eaten by others. Hearing Always roar, the two froze. After that, under the booing of the whole class, there was even more suffocation of the secret being fully exposed. Especially Ali, although she comes from a big family, she behaves well and has a good attitude, but she is a girl after all. Encounter this kind of thing. Her mind was buzzing, and she was a little overwhelmed. Shut up. Ryoma stood up abruptly and shouted violently. The classroom was silent for a moment. Ryoma's fist is so big, he is still very prestigious in this class. With a roar, no one dared to speak at this time. Looking at this scene, Ryoma nodded in satisfaction. Immediately, his eyes slowly shifted to Away. Alway was stunned by the sight. Secretly regretting in my heart, I shouldn't have been quick to talk. Away, you are dead. Sage of 6 Paths is useless, I told you. Ryoma said fiercely. Ryoma, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been quick-mouthed and spread rumors about you. Let me go. Alway burst into tears when he heard Ryoma's words. Don't think that the school is very peaceful and warm. There were endless campus bullying incidents in the previous life, let alone the current ninja school. The bullying here is more direct and brutal. Now I know I was wrong. It's too late. Ryoma grabbed Alway's collar with one hand and disappeared into the classroom in an instant. The others in the classroom, watching this scene, were too frightened to speak out. Seeing this scene, Ali secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Very well, the scene is under control. When she came back to her senses, she knew what to do next. I don't want to hear people discussing this matter outside, you should understand what I mean. Ali is usually gentle and pleasant. However, at this time, she had an awe-inspiring look and her eyes were alluring. Looking around, few dared to look at her. When those people heard Ali's words, they all nodded in unison. Show your interest. Of course, there are also a few who disagree. Such as springs, such as flowers. However, at this time, they did not refute Ali. After all, to retort at this time is to slap Ali in the face, and it is also not to give Ryoma face. They don't want to get kicked by Ryoma. It took a while. Ryoma is back. Came back alone. Ryoma, where's Away? Kwon couldn't help asking. Away is dead, burn the paper for something. Ryoma glanced at Kwon, nonsense. The students in the class couldn't help but tremble when they heard Ryoma's words. Ryoma glanced at Ali, and Ali nodded. The two have been friends for more than half a year, and they have already developed a tacit understanding. Ryoma naturally understood what Ali meant. His complexion eased. Ahem, it is wrong to spread rumors, students must keep this in mind. As long as we don't spread rumors, we are still friends. It's time to play, it's time to make trouble, it's all right, let's relax. Quote. After Ryoma finished speaking, she sat down. Lie down casually. Seeing this, the students in the class also breathed a sigh of relief. The tense atmosphere just now dissipated quickly. What should everyone do? At this time, Ali was completely relieved. It's all your fault. Saying that, the jade hand pinched the soft flesh around Ryoma's waist again and twisted it. Hiss. Ryoma gasped in pain. Quickly said, it's almost done, if you make trouble again, they will start booing again. HMPH, I'll let you go first, but you must treat me today, otherwise. Ali is black-bellied, and is even more calculated by the Grandmaster. How could she not seize such an opportunity? Please, please. Ryoma agreed to Ali's request, which was not too much and could be refused there. That's about the same. Ali smiled gently, and let go of the soft flesh around Ryoma's waist. Not long. The teacher is here. Started the roll call and found that Away was not there. Where's Away? The teacher asked displeased, thinking that Away skipped class. This is only the second class, so skipping class is too much. Quote. The whole class couldn't help looking at Ryoma. Teacher always said it was too hot, so he ran to eat popsicles. Ryoma said nonsense. Quote. As a person who has experienced it, the teacher has never experienced anything. He vaguely guessed some things, but he didn't bother to pay attention to them. He is just a teacher in class. It's not the class teacher, why care so much? In that case, let's go to class first. At this time, no one knows. The impact of this matter has only just begun. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.